Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Shalom, Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya. Good morning, everyone. First of all, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Karsari. I will be hosting the program and accompanying you throughout this morning's workshop. I would like to welcome all the invited guests and workshop participants who join us this morning. Welcome to our distinguished guest, Mr. Muhammad Jalid, Director of UNESCO Jakarta, Mr. Tuan Haji Jasri Kasim, Secretary General, Malaysian National Commission for UNESCO, Mr. Dr. Andes Pustanto MM, Head of Museum and Cultural Heritage, representing Mr. Hilmar Farid, Director General of Culture, Ministry of Education, Culture, Research, and Technology of the Republic of Indonesia. And we also have our speakers this morning. Please welcome Ms. Diana Setiawati, Associate Project Officer, UNESCO Culture Unit Jakarta. Our friend from Georgetown World Heritage Malaysia, Dr. Ang Ming Chi, General Manager, Georgetown World Heritage Incorporated Malaysia. Our friend from Malacca World Heritage Malaysia, Ms. Puan Erni Binti Hamzah, Administrator of Malacca World Heritage Office, and Mr. Ahmad Najib Naj Arifin, our friend from Borobudur World Heritage Temple Compound, Ms. Isni Wahyuningsih SSMA, and Mr. Brahmantara STMA, Site Manager Museum and Cultural Heritage Borobudur Unit, and also other speakers today, Mr. Mirza Arditya, CEO of PT Asli Dagadu Jogja, Mr. Eugene Hendro, Creative Director of Eugene Hendro Design Studio, Mr. Jamie Nicolaus, owner of Saparo.id and the first winner of UNESCO WH50 competition, Mr. Denny Nugroho, owner of Guru Batik and second winner of UNESCO WH50 competition, and Ms. Nurwulan Yulianing, Batik artisan from Borobudur. All right, before we start the program this morning, let's start by praying so that today's workshop will be smooth and useful for all participants attending today. Praying according to our religion and beliefs. Let us pray. Done. Thank you. All right. Before we begin, let me tell you a little bit about this workshop and the series of upcoming events. This morning's workshop organized by UNESCO Jakarta and funded by Malaysia-UNESCO Cooperation Programme, MUCP, throughout the Malaysia Funds in Trust, MFIT. Today's workshop is the inaugural workshop and will be followed by a series of next workshops until May 2023. This workshop aims to share knowledge and experience for World Heritage Site managers, as well as creative industry players who live around the World Heritage Sites in developing creative products inspired by World Heritage Sites from Malaysia and Indonesia. Malaysia will be represented by the team from two World Heritage Sites, namely Georgetown, Penang, and also Malacca, while Indonesia will be represented by team from Borobudur. When we say team, here is the site managers and the local communities, artisans. These sites in both countries are certainly interesting to explore and learn in order to inspire the creative industry in the area of World Heritage Sites to develop products that associated with World Heritage Sites, which also beneficial to contribute to the cultural preservation of the sites. All right, and today's workshop is the first workshop with agenda of sharing knowledge and experience, both from Indonesia and Malaysia. From Indonesia, we will be sharing on such creative process in product development, which was formed into an inspiring competition held in July to September 2022, hosted by UNESCO Jakarta. Malaysia colleague will also share how the development of the creative industry in Malaysia take place and their relevance to the preservation of World Heritage Sites, both from Georgetown, Penang, and Malacca. This workshop, which is full of knowledge and inspiring ideas, is certainly interesting. With the two experts in creative product development, Mr. Eugene Hendro and Mr. Mirza Arditya, who will respond to the presentation from the both Indonesian and Malaysian representative. I will introduce more details on both experts in the later session. That was a glimpse of this morning workshop. So without further ado, let us begin our session with series of opening remarks. We welcome Mr. Muhammad Jalid, Director of UNESCO Jakarta, to give his opening remark. Mr. Muhammad Jalid, time is yours.
Your Excellencies, Dr. Hema Farid, Director General of Culture, Ministry of Education, Culture, Research and Technology of the Republic of Indonesia. Mr. Tuan Haji Jasri, Secretary General of the Malaysia-UNESCO Commission for UNESCO, representative of the Indonesian National Commission for UNESCO, Dr. Anjming Chi, General Manager, Georgetown World Heritage Incorporated, Ms. Puan L. Binti Hamza, Pengurus Besar Melaka World Heritage Office, site managers from World Heritage Site, including Georgetown, Melaka, and Borobudur Temple Compound. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat pagi. It's a pleasure for me to share a message with you for this momentous workshop of the World Heritage Sites. UNESCO World Heritage Sites represent the most exceptional expression of our humanity and the treasures of our planet. Through the 1972 UNESCO Convention concerning the protection of the world cultural and natural heritage, countries around the world have committed to safeguarding these sites of outstanding universal value, while making them a center of excellence for sustainable development. As we know, the creative industry caters to economic development in the form of handicrafts, culinary products, tourist services, and so on. However, there is a potential to expand the opportunity to develop creative products that are informative and distinctive of a World Heritage Site. Ladies and gentlemen, in the framework of the Malaysia-UNESCO Cooperation Programme, UNESCO Jakarta is proud to launch the exchange workshop on developing World Heritage-inspired creative products. Through this initiative, site managers and artisans from World Heritage Sites in Indonesia and Malaysia will bring together the means to exchange knowledge and experiences about their respective sites, interpretation, and creative product development. You will also obtain the opportunity to create unique product prototypes inspired by World Heritage Sites. Ladies and gentlemen, over the next few months, participants will work together with mentors and experts to come up with products ideas that are distinctive of Georgetown, Melaka, and Borobudur. I hope that all of us may find the process fruitful and useful, and that the product prototypes may inspire many more artisans and communities. I wish to thank the government of Malaysia for its timely support through the MUCP and the government of Indonesia for facilitating this exchange. I hope this workshop inspires you, and I look forward to finding out more on your creative process and product in the near future. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much, Mr. Muhammad Jalid, for giving us information and also providing information on the potential of the World Heritage Sites as the center of excellence of sustainable development. All right, now we give the floor to Mr. Tuan Haji Jasri Kasim, Secretary General Malaysia National Commission for UNESCO, to deliver his remarks. Mr. Haji Jasri Kasim, time is yours.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh dan selamat pagi. Dr. Hilma Farid, Director General of Culture, Ministry of Education, Culture, Research and Technology of the Republic of Indonesia. Mr. Muhammad Jalid, Director and Representative of UNESCO Jakarta. Dr. Ang Ming Chi, General Manager, Georgetown World Heritage Incorporated. Puan Erni binti Hamzah, General Manager, Malacca World Heritage Office, representative of the Indonesia National Commission for UNESCO, and site managers, speakers, dignitaries, and artisans from World Heritage sites, including Borobudur, Georgetown, and Malacca. On behalf of the Government of Malaysia, I take immense pleasure in joining you at this important moment that marks the beginning of what we aim to be an impactful series of workshops on developing World Heritage-inspired creative product jointly organized under the ambit of Malaysia-UNESCO Cooperation Programme, MUCP. I would like to express our appreciation to UNESCO Jakarta office for enabling the creation of a tangible link between local livelihood and the World Heritage Site by supporting micro and small-scale entrepreneurs. As highlighted by Mr. Jalid, UNESCO World Heritage Sites are a crucial representation of the evolution of our communities, which are irreplaceable source of our past and link them to our future generations. Our highest hope that this workshop series will expand your horizons and guide you to create a new and innovative products inspired by World Heritage Sites. As you share your experience with each other, you will also be building a valuable network of artisans between Malaysia and Indonesia. These programs which will synthesize the best practice between artisans of participating countries, is in tandem with the principle of the MUCP in empowering South-South cooperation. While looking forward to learning more about your creative idea and products, I hope that this partnership can also inspire our artisans surrounding the World Heritage Site in the region. In the long term, we hope that the best practice and outcome from this program can be shared with others as humanity has a creativity to improve, innovate, and expand, making great leaps from existing platform and findings. Excellencies and dear friends, before I conclude my remarks, please allow me to grace this event with a verse of pantun. Buah salak di dalam kantung, kulitnya keras, isinya kelat. Bulat air kerana pembentung, bulat manusia kerana mafakat. With that, terima kasih and thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Tuan Haji Jasri Kasim, for providing us information on the connection of local livelihood and the future generations by empowering the local artisan around the World Heritage Sites. And it is so impressive pantun as well. All right, now we give the floor to Dr. Andes Pustanto MM, Head of Museum and Cultural Heritage, Directorate General of Culture, Ministry of Education, Culture, Research and Technology, Republic of Indonesia. Time is yours.
Terima kasih, selamat pagi dan thank you for all participation. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera bagi kita semua. Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, salam kebajikan, Rahayu. Yang terhormat Master Muhammad Jalid, Direktur UNESCO Jakarta, Master Tuan Haji Jasri, Secretary General of Komite Nasional Malaysia untuk UNESCO, Perwakilan Komite Nasional Indonesia untuk UNESCO, Dr. Ang Ming Chi, General Manager Georgetown World Heritage Incorporated, Puan Erni binti Hamzah, Pengurus Besar Malacca World Heritage Office, para site manager dari berbagai warisan dunia, Georgetown, Malacca, Borobudur, Prambanan, Sangiran, Bali, dan Sawah Lunto, dan para pembicara, rekan pemerintah, artisan, dan para hadirin dari Indonesia dan Malaysia. Puji syukur kami panjatkan kehadirat Tuhan Yang Maha Esa, Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, atas terselenggaranya acara Virtual Initiation Workshop UNESCO Exchange, Workshop on Developing World Heritage Inspired Creative Product antara Indonesia, Malaysia yang diprakarsai oleh UNESCO. Kami atas nama Direktorat Jenderal Kebudayaan, Kementerian Pendidikan Kebudayaan, Riset dan Teknologi, senang sekali bisa bertemu dengan para pelestari warisan dunia melalui acara virtual workshop pada kali ini bisa menjadi kesempatan yang sangat baik untuk saling bertukar dan berbagi pengalaman antara kedua negara, terutama antara Borobudur, Malaka, dan Georgetown. Kegiatan ini sangat sesuai dengan semangat kami untuk melakukan pemberdayaan masyarakat lokal di sekitar warisan dunia. Hal ini sesuai dengan regulasi yang ada di Undang-Undang Republik Indonesia Nomor 11 Tahun 2010 tentang Cagar Budaya dan Undang-Undang Republik Indonesia Nomor 5 Tahun 2017 tentang Pemajuan Kebudayaan. Pelestarian dilakukan untuk mensejahterakan masyarakat dengan melibatkan berbagai kepentingan, terutama masyarakat. Saat ini, Indonesia melalui Museum dan Cagar Budaya sedang melakukan usaha untuk melakukan pengelolaan warisan budaya secara terpadu dan berkelanjutan. Usaha pengelolaan melalui suatu badan pengelola tersebut melibatkan seluruh pemangku kepentingan yang terdiri dari pemerintah pusat, pemerintah daerah, dunia usaha, masyarakat lokal. Masyarakat menjadi sangat penting dalam pengembangan industri kreatif dalam skala mikro untuk kerajinan tangan, kuliner, layanan pemandu, dan lain sebagainya. Saya mengucapkan terima kasih dan apresiasi kepada UNESCO Jakarta dan pemerintah Malaysia melalui dukungan program kerjasama Malaysia-UNESCO sehingga acara ini dapat terwujud. Melalui kegiatan ini, site manager dan artisan dari warisan dunia Indonesia dan Malaysia bisa berkumpul dan belajar tentang pengembangan produk kreatif, saling menginspirasi, dan melalui proses ini dapat menggerakkan komunitas dan para pemangku kepentingan. Saya berharap juga kepada site manager dari Indonesia dan Malaysia bersama-sama dengan komunitas kreatif dapat bekerja sama untuk menciptakan pemikiran, inovasi untuk menghasilkan produk kreatif yang dapat mewakili cerita, warisan dunia, dan sejarah dari situs tersebut. Terima kasih atas kehadiran para peserta. Semoga ke depan warisan dunia semakin lestari. Salam budaya. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera. Santi Santi Namo Buddhaya. Salam kebajikan. Rahayu. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much for the remarks from Mr. Pustanto, who has provided information on the importance of this workshop that will connect various stakeholders to support local communities' empowerment. All right, once again, we would like to thank the speakers and hopefully provide positive energy and strengthen the cooperation between Malaysia and Indonesia. All right, ladies and gentlemen, now it's time for the main program this morning. The main program this morning will begin with a talk show session with the speakers who have attended the studio. So please welcome Ms. Diana Setiawati, Associate Project Officer, UNESCO Culture Unit Jakarta. Good morning,
Good
Ms.
morning,
Diana.
everyone.
All right, and right from the corner as well, Mr. Eugene Hendro, Creative Director of Eugene Hendro Design Studio. Good morning.
Morning.
All right, and Ms. Isni Wahyuningsih, SSMA, and Mr. Brahmantara, STMA, Site Manager, Museum and Cultural Heritage, Borobudur Unit. Good morning.
Good morning.
And last but not least, of course, Ms. Nurwulan Yulianing, Batik Crafter from Borobudur. Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, so how are you today, this morning? Full of spirit? and
Full of
happy.
spirit.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, it is a great moment to have all of you here together in one session. And thank you for your time to attend this workshop. And in this initial session, first of all, I would like to invite Ms. Diana to present and share the creative process in the WH50 Creative Product Competition hosted by UNESCO Jakarta last year. And Ms. Diana is Associate Project Coordinator Culture Unit UNESCO Jakarta. Right, so Ms. Diana, time is yours.
Thank you, Sekar. Hello, everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi, I'm Diana, and I would like to say and share a little bit about our experience in hosting the Creative Product Competition. So last year, to mark the anniversary of the 1972 Convention about World Heritage, UNESCO Jakarta, under the support of City Foundation and Japan Fan Trust, we conducted the competition for creative product. So this is actually a part of our campaign for the local communities and artisans in Indonesia to create with their innovative ideas in developing creative product inspired by the World Heritage Sites. So the competition is actually started during July, and we have 3 months program. So it's quite, as you see in the slide, it's quite extensive. And then we have a various stage of the competition. But I would like also to reiterate that this is actually not the first time that UNESCO Jakarta is doing a community engagement program in Indonesia and other countries, because this is actually part of us to raise awareness for the local communities globally and also stakeholders around the world, how important it is to preserve World Heritage Sites. So yes, if you see, we have like a poster for the competition, and then we have to socialize the event, and then after we socialize the event, and we get like 122 participants registered from different provinces in Indonesia, and we are so thrilled with the enthusiasm. And we provided also a free workshop for these participants. We invite site managers, and we also invite our colleagues from UNESCO Jakarta to speak a little bit about World Heritage Sites and its outstanding universal values. So, and then after we have this 121 registration, next slide. We have around 42 selected based on the stories that they provided. So when they submitted their application, there is also part of them to propose what type of values of the World Heritage Sites that they want to raise, and what is the relevance with the innovative ideas of their product design. And then we selected 42, and afterward we have another selection again, because we also have coaching session. And then afterwards we have like 15 finalists. And then this 15 finalists we invited to Borobudur and Yogyakarta, and then we had the coaching, and then they met with the mentor, the coaching, and then they presented the product ideas. If they want to make last minute changes to their ideas, they were given time, even though very short, because it's a physical time, and face-to-face was too limited. And then finally we got 3 winners. And we are so glad with the result, because from these 15 finalists, they have presented, next slide, various creative products. You can see, next slide. Yeah, there is like eco-friendly bags from Nicholas Jamie, the first winner. And then we have Dompet Warisan Dunia from Denny Nugroho. We will hear about it later. And then we have also a heritage journal. We have different type of things. And then we have like name card holders representing the Komodo. And you can see in the slide, like there are 15 of ideas. From this part, actually, these finalists, they say that they really enjoy the process, because they develop their ideas and they meet with the mentors and the site managers, and this is actually also their asset for their further development. So even though not all of them won the competition, but this is actually a good investment for them as well. Next slide. So yeah, this is the process. If I mentioned before, they were invited in Borobudur. So this, after series of virtual coaching, these 15 finalists, finally they have to present their ideas. You see the one in the below, it's Guru Bumi. She presented like a magnetic pinboard to explain about the World Heritage Sites in Indonesia, and this is quite impressive. And then there is a boy in the left. She presented eco-friendly material scarf inspired from the stories of Sangiran Early Man Site. And then we also have two coach. Later they will join us, Mr. Eugene Hendro and Mr. Mirza. So yeah, this is part of the process that this young joined. Next. Yeah, this is my last slide. So far the impacts of this competition, this is really inspiring for the participants and also for the finalists as well. We also showcased and displayed the result of the products in the two activity of a G20 conference last time, one in Borobudur and one in Bali in the frame of the Third World Conference of Creative Economy in Bali. And then they also invited in separate and various medium to speak about their experience and to inspire other youths to how to create creative products. And we hope that these new products that they develop can also enhance their economic and livelihood. Yeah, so that's a little bit story about the competition.
Wow, it's so interesting, yeah, especially with the engagement of youth and also the whole complete process, yeah, for the participants to get the product result. Wow. And now from Miss Diana, we are going to listen from our colleagues from Borobudur. Let's turn to our presenters, Miss Isni Wahyuningsih, SSMA, and Mr. Brahmantara, STMA, from the Museum and Cultural Heritage Borobudur Unit. Their office has also provided assistance to creative industry players living in surrounding Borobudur. They have been also working closely with the local communities of Borobudur to create creative products which reflects the stories and values of Borobudur Temple. For this opportunity, they will share us stories about two creative products, which are Batik Borobudur and Upanat. Oh, interested? Okay, so let's hear more then. We invite Miss Isni Wahyuningsih and Mr. Brahmantara. But for your information, before Miss Isni and Mr. Brahmantara work daily at the Borobudur Museum and Cultural Heritage Unit. Miss Isni is in the Documentation and Publication Division, and she's concerned with activities to actualize the value of temple reliefs. Meanwhile, Mr. Brahmantara is part of the Team Borobudur Temple's Maintenance Division, and his interest is digital documentation technology of cultural heritage. So, without any delay, please welcome Miss Isni and Mr. Brahmantara. Time is yours.
Terima kasih waktunya. Selamat pagi semua, Bapak Ibu, juga rekan-rekan dari Malaysia dan juga Indonesia. Pagi ini senang sekali kami bisa bergabung dengan acara ini dan terkait dengan bagaimana upaya kita untuk membantu teman-teman di kawasan ya pemberdayaan masyarakat yang dikaitkan dengan warisan dunia Borobudur. Kita kemudian berupaya karena yang kita lestarikan itu tidak hanya fisik candinya ya Borobudur sebagai warisan dunia, tapi juga nilai-nilai yang terkandung di dalamnya, apalagi Borobudur itu terdiri ada relief-relief yang terpahat di Candi Borobudur yang jumlahnya untuk relief narasi, relief cerita itu ada 1460 panel, kemudian ada 1.212 relief dekoratif non cerita, yaitu yang itu nantinya kita harapkan nilai-nilai yang ada di dalamnya bisa kita gali kembali, kemudian dikembangkan, diaktualisasikan lewat antara lain lewat kreasi seni, utamanya seni kriya, seni tari, dan untuk saat ini yang akan kita tampilkan nanti itu adalah seni kriya ya. Di antaranya salah satunya adalah batik. Boleh di slide-nya dipaparkan, ditayangkan. Nah, ini beberapa yang telah kita lakukan dari Museum dan Cagar Budaya Unit Borobudur. Kita beberapa tahun terakhir ini telah melakukan kegiatan yang terkait dengan aktualisasi nilai relief Candi Borobudur melalui seni tari, ada seni kriya dan selanjutnya, dan seni tari pun juga diinspirasi mengambil cerita dan gerakan yang ada di relief ya. Beberapa dari relief Jataka sudah kita tarikan dan sudah kita hakikan, bisa dilihat nanti dibuka di YouTube-nya. Dulu masih Balai Konservasi ya, belum MCP, belum ke reorganisasi ke MCP, nanti bisa Bapak Ibu teman-teman lihat di YouTube Balai Konservasi Borobudur, tari-tarian yang inspirasinya dari relief Borobudur. Ada 6 tari Jataka yang sudah kita unggah di YouTube, itu dari gerakannya, dari kostumnya, dari musiknya, itu inspirasinya dari relief Candi Borobudur. Kemudian kita juga menginisiasi teman-teman di kawasan Borobudur untuk yuk kita selama ini kalau di Borobudur kan belum menemukan ya satu karya kriya yang menjadi ciri khasnya Borobudur. Nah, bagaimana kita mengangkat itu kriya-kriya yang inspirasinya dari Candi Borobudur, kemudian diwujudkan, diaktualisasikan nilainya. Tidak hanya wujud seperti yang dimiripkan dengan relief, tapi nilainya yang ada di dalamnya kita ungkap kembali untuk kita juga belajar pendidikan karakter, untuk mendukung pendidikan karakter juga untuk bagaimana pemberdayaan masyarakat mempunyai identitas khas yang inspirasinya dari Candi Borobudur. Juga untuk harapannya kesejahteraan masyarakat sekitar. Juga nantinya agar bagaimana masyarakat itu tidak semuanya tumplek-blek, misalnya menjadi pedagang asongan yang hanya ada di Candi Borobudur, nanti bisa disebarkan ke kawasan Borobudur dengan pengembangan potensi yang juga diharapkan nanti travel pattern atau pola perjalanannya bisa diambil dari tema-tema yang ada di relief Candi Borobudur. Kemudian untuk cindera mata, harapannya nanti teman-teman dari UMKM, dari teman-teman kita muda kreatif yang sudah selama ini dukung terus juga, selalu ada workshop-workshop yang dilakukan oleh UNESCO, nanti bisa membuat teman-teman semakin kreatif, semakin maju, semakin bersemangat untuk menciptakan karya-karya kriya yang basisnya dari relief Candi Borobudur. Lanjut. Nah, ini inspirasi-inspirasi sebenarnya banyak sekali cerita. Tadi ada 1.460 relief cerita yang bisa menjadi inspirasi untuk karya kriya ya. Kriya bisa kriya batik, kriya pahat, ukir, cetak, dan lain-lainnya. Lanjut. Ini untuk ornamen-ornamen dari Borobudur ya. Itu juga dapat menginspirasi karya-karya kriya yang harapannya nanti menjadi ciri khas karya-karya kriya di kawasan Borobudur. Lanjut. Nah, ini untuk contoh-contoh arsitektur elemen Candi Borobudur. Lanjut. Nah, ini beberapa yang telah kita lakukan untuk workshop kriya ya. Ini utamanya kriya batik yang juga dari sebelah ada Mbak Wulan yang juga salah satu pesertanya. Bagaimana caranya mengkaji dulu relief-relief yang ada, kemudian kita workshop bareng, kemudian bagaimana ide-ide itu dituangkan dalam kreativitas motif-motif batik oleh ibu-ibu, utamanya juga generasi muda di kawasan Borobudur. Kemudian mereka workshop sampai sekaligus kita fasilitasi dengan bahan-bahan dan juga selesai sampai nanti akhirnya jadi satu produk. Dan kemudian yang lebih penting dari karya itu adalah karena tadi kita ingin melestarikan nilai, maka kemudian tidak lepas dari itu, yang penting adalah narasi atau storytelling dari produk tersebut. Itu yang perlu kita nanti bisa ungkapkan nilainya, kemudian kita wariskan ke generasi yang akan datang, ya, generasi muda ataupun masyarakat pada saat ini. Lanjut. Nah, ini salah satu ya, ini salah satu yang telah dibuat, yang contohnya ada di depan ini, motif batik ya, dari kita namakan, kemudian storytellingnya, narasinya Bodhimanda. Ini salah satu motif yang inspirasinya ada di relief ganda Yuha yang terkait dengan bagaimana jalan menuju pencerahan. Dan ini menceritakan perjalanan Sudana untuk mencari pencerahan kebenaran tentang hidup ini, yang inspirasinya ada di relief ganda Yuha, dan nantinya akan diterangkan oleh lebih banyak oleh Mbak Ulen, dan selanjutnya nanti Mas Bramantara akan menyampaikan terkait upaya untuk pelestarian fisik Candi Borobudur melalui karya kreatif, antara lain upanat ya, alas kaki untuk naik ke struktur Candi Borobudur supaya mengurangi tekanan kaki agar GCA-nya tidak membuat aus ya, semakin membuat aus batuan Candi Borobudur. Dan ini bagian dari upaya pelestarian fisiknya candi, tapi juga sekaligus untuk peningkatan kesejahteraan masyarakat melalui UMKM yang akan dilaksanakan nantinya pengadaannya oleh masyarakat sekitar Borobudur. Monggo selanjutnya Mas Bram.
Alright, Mas Bram, you can continue the presentation.
Thank you, Mbak Sekar, Mbak Nana. I'm sorry, I speak in bahasa. Baik, terima kasih Bapak Ibu semua. Jadi di kesempatan hari yang berbahagia ini, kami akan sharing tentang satu kreatif produk gitu ya, yang terinspirasi dari Borobudur. Mohon izin mungkin slide-nya bisa dipaparkan. Jadi mungkin beberapa teman-teman atau masyarakat itu sudah di beberapa waktu ini sudah mendengar tentang upanat gitu ya. Ini satu hal yang cukup luar biasa terutama bagi kami selaku peneliti, karena kreatif produk ini based on research, jadi flow-nya hingga kemudian ini menjadi justifikasi yang cukup penting bagi kami, karena ini tidak hanya sebagai satu media pelestarian saja, namun satu hal yang kemudian menjadi menarik gitu ya. Ini skema ini kemudian menjadi satu hal untuk melibatkan masyarakat secara langsung. Next slide mungkin. Jadi ini latar belakangnya memang cukup panjang. Jadi tentu kalau berbicara tentang Borobudur, kita paham tentang outstanding universal value. Kemudian kalau berbicara tentang atribut fisik, salah satunya adalah elemen batu yang ada di tangga. Dan ini menjadi satu hal yang cukup penting bagi kita untuk menjaga agar kondisi keterawatan, state of conservation-nya ini bisa terjamin, kira-kira seperti itu. Kemudian satu hal yang menarik juga bahwa state of conservation ini juga menjadi satu rekomendasi di Reactive Monitoring 2006. Jadi bagaimana kita berupaya tetap untuk bisa menjaga kondisi keterawatan. Kemudian tentu hal ini juga berkait dengan atribut fisik outstanding universal value, dan di beberapa observasi terkait dengan dampak kunjungan, visitor impact-nya sendiri memberikan dampak yang cukup luar biasa. Salah satu hal yang menjadi perhatian kita adalah kondisi keausan batu tangga. Jadi Bapak Ibu bisa dilihat di slide ini, kondisinya cukup mengkhawatirkan, dan kita mencoba menganalisis dari data yang ada. Kita komparasi pasca pemugaran 183 ketika Candi Borobudur dibuka untuk publik, nilainya memang cukup signifikan ya, nilai tingkat keausan, sehingga ini menjadi satu hal yang cukup penting bagi kami selaku pelestari gitu ya. Hingga kemudian kami melakukan beberapa riset, beberapa uji coba untuk mencegah keausan ini sebenarnya sudah cukup panjang, mulai dari covering tangga dan lain sebagainya. Namun proses yang ada di lapangan, beberapa hal cukup menjadi evaluasi, sehingga satu rekomendasi yang cukup penting bagaimana kita mencoba memprotek, tentu ini berkaitan dengan visitor management, hingga kemudian muncul satu rekomendasi penggunaan alas kaki khusus. Next slide. Jadi ini riset proses gitu yang kami lakukan gitu ya. Jadi mulai dari identifikasi material, kami juga melakukan uji lab, uji skala lab untuk melihat jadi material-material apa saja yang bisa kita gunakan, dan kalau kita bilang mencegah jelas tidak mungkin karena ada interaksi langsung gitu, tapi paling tidak material yang kemudian kita rekomendasikan untuk digunakan ini meminimalisir nilai keausahan yang ada. Dan ini beberapa proses di slide ini mulai dari uji material, kemudian kami melakukan uji trial penggunaannya di lapangan. Karena berkaitan dengan satu kreatif produk alas kaki ini tentu satu aspek yang penting adalah masalah keselamatan. Jadi kita menjamin bahwa ini tidak menimbulkan problem terkait dengan kenyamanan dan keselamatan pengunjung itu sendiri. Next slide. The next slide ini kita berbicara tentang branding dan desain filosofi, karena ini menjadi satu hal surprise bagi kami tim riset gitu ya, ketika kita mencoba menggali ketika sandal ini tidak hanya menjadi satu sandal saja, tapi ada satu narasi, satu story yang cukup penting terkait dengan significant value dari relief yang ada di Candi Borobudur. Dan ternyata ada satu hal yang menarik, bahwasanya di panel relief 150 relief Karmai Bangga itu alas kaki itu sudah ada. Jadi ada saat di relief ini jelas bisa kita dilihat di pahatan atas kanan itu, di situ tertulis Upana yang berarti persembahan alas kaki, dan sangat bisa kita lihat di relief tersebut di bagian kanan itu ada orang memberikan begitu ya, memberikan alas kaki, dan kita mencoba mendetailkan ini, mungkin bisa diklik ya, diklik gitu, diklik, mohon maaf. Nah, ini kemudian kita tebalkan lagi. Oke, jadi di sini sangat mungkin bisa kita lihat ya, jadi bagian kanan itu. Nah, hingga kemudian kita mendevelop gitu ya. Tentu tidak hanya masalah desain saja, tapi masalah ergonomi, kenyamanan, keselamatan, sama satu hal yang cukup penting adalah penggunaan ekomaterial yang kita develop benar-benar ini tidak memberikan dampak sampah dan lain sebagainya gitu, hingga kemudian kita memilih beberapa bahan. Ini cukup menarik dan surprise bagi kami peneliti, karena ya akhirnya ini kita mencoba mendesain sama gitu ya, sama dengan bentuk dan desain yang ada di relief. Next slide. Ini beberapa, hingga kemudian dari desain tersebut kita develop, terus kemudian kita melakukan proses pemberdayaan masyarakat, kita mencoba mengidentifikasi komunitas-komunitas lokal, pengrajin lokal, hingga kemudian kita melakukan beberapa workshop, mulai dari tentu pemahaman tentang nilai apa sih Upana, kaitannya dengan masalah relief apa, karena ini tidak hanya kita berbicara tentang satu produk sandal, tidak hanya spesial tentang sandal seperti itu saja, namun ada satu hal yang perlu kita narasikan, dan ini menjadi satu pemikiran penting terutama bagi pengrajin, bahwasanya ya ada nilai, ada story yang cukup penting ketika nanti pengunjung menggunakan ini. Dia tidak hanya sebatas tentang saya pakai sandal, enggak, tapi mereka sadar dan mereka mendapatkan satu informasi gitu ya kira-kira. Jadi bahwasanya ternyata penggunaan alas kaki itu sejak zaman dulu sudah ada. Dan ini menjadi satu proses yang cukup penting. Kita berbicara tentang edukasi pelestarian, kita berbicara tentang sustainability dan sebagainya. Jadi ini menjadi ini kemudian menjadi dasar bagi kita, hingga kemudian proses-proses itu berlanjut, dan semoga nanti ketika candi sudah dibuka dengan pembatasan, dan ini menjadi satu kewajiban kira-kira seperti itu ya, yang harus nanti digunakan oleh pengunjung. Dan di beberapa kesempatan, dan kalau bisa kita lihat di media itu tentang Upana ini sudah disosialisasikan kira-kira seperti itu. Jadi ini menjadi satu hal penting bagi kita untuk menarasikan ini ke publik. Jadi ini tidak hanya sandal saja gitu ya, tapi Upanat itu sesuatu yang penting, dan narasi itu menjadi satu hal, satu proses bagi kita kaum pelestari untuk memberikan edukasi yang berkelanjutan kepada visitor, kepada pengunjung, kepada masyarakat secara umum. Jadi kira-kira seperti itu, Mbak Sekar, Mbak Nana, dan teman lainnya. Ini, oh ya mohon maaf, malah saya belum pegang sandalnya. Jadi kira-kira sandalnya seperti ini. Jadi memang sebagian besar materialnya ini kita menggunakan bahan alam. Ini pandan, kemudian ini dari badok kelapa, tempurung kepala kelapa. Terus kemudian sebenarnya untuk desain alas kaki spon ini kita di awal juga merancang beberapa alternatif menggunakan bahan alam. Hanya kemudian karena kita berpikir bahwa ini kebutuhannya tidak hanya sedikit. Kalau sedikit mungkin oke gitu ya, enggak ketersediaan volume di alam gitu enggak masalah, karena proses untuk menjadi bahan ini tidak hanya singkat tapi butuh proses panjang gitu ya. Akhirnya kita memilih bahan yang ketersediaannya itu sangat banyak dan itu tidak jadi masalah ketika nanti untuk digunakan skala volume yang besar. Namun detail spon ini pun kita juga sudah melakukan proses uji di lab untuk memberikan informasi kita bahwasannya spon yang seperti apa sih yang tidak memberikan keausan yang cukup besar, kira-kira seperti itu. Dan ke depan tentu kalau kita melihat di sini ya, kayak profil samping ini sebenarnya masih umum gitu ya, masih biasa. Kalau kita ke Malioboro ini masih melihat ini. Kita tetap akan mendevelop ini menggunakan bahan material alam. Hanya memang karena posisinya pelisiran ini di samping memang tidak mudah gitu ya. Namun kita pun diskusi dengan teman-teman pengrajin untuk bisa melakukan beberapa uji atau merancang material yang terdiri dari alam untuk bisa menggantikan posisi ini. Ya memang kalau secara umum sandal seperti ini apa ya, mungkin ada gitu ya di pasaran, cuman ada satu narasi besar ini yang menurut saya ini sangat luar biasa. Kira-kira seperti itu. Terima
All
kasih.
right, thank you very much, Mas Bram, for the presentation. It looks so comfy. Yeah, I want to wear it right away after the presentation because, as it is mentioned before, that it emphasizes also the role of research to create a product full of knowledge and narration, and also it contains so meaningful values, and yeah, it is very important part of designing a product to be delivered to the society. Yeah. All right. Thank you very much, Miss Isni and also Mas Bram. And now we are moving to Miss Nurwulan Yulianing. She's a batik artisan from Borobudur. So after we have a glimpse of story of Upanat and also the batik pattern inspired from the relief of Borobudur. Now we are going to hear a story of the development of batik motifs directly from the artisan. So please welcome Miss Nurwulan Yulian.
Oke, terima kasih Mbak Sekar, Mbak Nana, ada Mas Bram sama Bu Isni juga dari BKP. Terus untuk host yang satu ini Mas. Belum kenalan. Oke, sedikit akan menceritakan sebelum kami pembatik itu untuk terjun ke dunia relief ya. Kami sebenarnya ada beberapa paguyuban yang ada di sekitar untuk berusaha untuk berkreasi. Nah, dari kreasi itu kemudian kami dari tim para pemuda batik itu, anak-anak muda terutama, itu kenapa kita punya the famous of Java, yaitu Candi Borobudur, kenapa kita enggak mengangkat itu? Kenapa kita masih notabene copycat dari beberapa pembatik yang ada di sekitar Indonesia. Nah, dari situlah kemudian bertemu dengan Bu Isni, kita melakukan penelitian juga. Hampir setahun ini masih tetap berlanjut penelitiannya. Kemudian ada ketemu dengan Mbak Nana dari UNESCO juga, terus kita dibimbing terus seperti apa, harus seperti apa. Kemudian kemarin ada pembelajaran sedikit dari BKP untuk menerapkan relief pada coretan malam yang ada di kain yang berupa batik. Nah, di sini kami selama berbulan-bulan itu berusaha untuk konsultasi dengan para arkeolog, dengan para pemuka agama Buddha juga, pemuka agama Buddhis, budayawan juga. Jadi sekiranya mana yang boleh ditoreh ke dalam kain yang tidak yang masih mengangkat tetap toleransi beragama. Jadi kita harus tahu nih patokan mana yang tidak boleh untuk ditorahin ke batik, karena batik notabene nanti jadi fashion, jadi ke baju, mungkin sarung, mungkin ikat kepala. Nah, mana nih yang boleh kita gambar di sini. Jadi kita konsultasikan dulu, dan ada beberapa memang yang jangan ditorahin karena memang itu simbol keagamaan juga. Jadi oke, kita mungkin bisa ambil dari segi flora faunanya juga. Karena di dalam relief candi itu dari Karmawi Bangga, bagian bawah ada Lalita Vistara nomor 2, Jataka Avadana, sampai yang naik paling tinggi sendiri Gandhavyuha. Oke. Nah, di sini juga ada beberapa batik yang mengambil simbol dari, nah, kita mengangkat sedikit, tidak terlalu banyak. Ini apa ini? Oke, mungkin slide-nya nanti slide-nya. Kebalik enggak nih, Bu? Oh, kebalik dulu. Ya, oke. Ini ada ambil kita dari floranya. Flora itu daunnya. Jadi di sekitar Candi Borobudur itu yang terkenal adalah namanya pohon bodi. Di relief juga ada. Nah, di tengah ini juga ada mengambil simbol burung. Nah, ada namanya kinara-kinari. Itu di googling pasti ada. Nah, ini yang kita ambil itu ornamen atau ornamen dekoratif yang ada di relief candi. Jadi di relief candi itu ada 2, satu dekoratif, satu yang naratif yang menceritakan, seperti itu. Nah, ini medalion gitu. Nah, ini medalion. Medalion itu ada di relief dekoratif juga. Ayo. Nah, ini juga motifnya masih motif motif daun bodi lagi. Dan ini orang mungkin akan melihat bunga. Padahal kalau di pembelajaran agama Buddhis ini tuh bunga terate dengan untaian tasbih. Iya, nggih. Di bawah. Ini ada namanya, kita ambil kala. Kala itu semacam gapuro ya, gapuro. Kala.
The gate ya.
Iya. Nah, kala Makaran niki. Nggih. Ini gapuro, namanya kita namai kala. Dan ini ornamen batunya yang di bawah juga nama. Tapi banyak orang yang ketakutan. Sedikit takut ya. Iya, Ini proses. Oke, untuk kemasannya. Nah, kita berusaha untuk tetap tidak jauh-jauh dari bahan alam, kemudian ketemu dengan Pak Bram yang berbau dengan pandan, kita juga sama nih. Nah, banyak pandan, kita mengemasnya seperti ini. Jadi ini tempat souvenirnya atau tempat kain batiknya nanti kita kemas. Nah, jadi pandan masih tetap tergolong dari flora juga dan ramah lingkungan. Nah, seperti ini. Ini kemarin hanya sedikit pewarnaan alam aja, ini dari indigo vera. Seperti itu. Oke. Kemasannya simpel ya, karena nanti ramah lingkungan. Jadi kalau ditaruh di tanah dibiarkan membusuk ya. Jadi tidak merusak alam gitu, seperti itu. Nah, dari narasi ini kemudian kami masih berlanjut untuk tetap konsultasi dengan para arkeolog, dengan BKB, Bu Isni juga, para arkeolog yang ada di UGM, juga ada Prof. Timbul, di BKB juga ada Bu Isni, Pak Taufik juga, ada Pak Hari juga. Jadi para arkeolog kita minta data yang valid. Nanti ketika dipertanyakan, kita sudah punya dasarnya, seperti itu. Saya rasa cukup sekian narasinya.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Nurwulan, for the enormous presentation. It's really connecting about the ideas, how it is connected to the society that is so diverse, and we have to respect this diversity, the diverse of religion and also other values. And it is also, I think, because of the stimulation, by organizing competitions, and also for sure by the coach that will be presented later. But for your information, that Ms. Nurwulan, since 2018 has been dedicated herself to create batik motifs inspired by the relief of Borobudur Temple. And in her product development, she also participants of technical training provided by the Borobudur Conservation Center since 2022. Wow, it's so amazing, yeah? And now, as I promised before, now let's hear our coach, Mr. Eugene, also to give a story about the WH50 competition from the side of the jury and provide his feedback on the process developed by the site managers in Borobudur. Time is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Mbak Sekar. Makasih Mbak Nana, Pak Bram, Wisni, Mbak Ulan. Yeah, as we all know that developing or creating a souvenir is not an easy task to do, especially for the young artisan or young designers, young makers. So first of all, they need to know what is the values that connected with the World Heritage Sites, and not just about the values, not just about the story, but they have to know also about the market. Who is the customer that they are trying to cater? So creating a souvenir is like composing a lot of things, some from the market, from the design, from the values, from the storytellings. And yeah, it is not easy things to do, especially if the souvenirs come from the young designers. So they need to learn more. They need to be sharpened. So that is where we as a mentor and as a judge came to help them. Our role is to sharpen what they have, what the main inspirations, and then how to connect their ideas, their initial ideas to the real products that can be sold eventually. And most importantly, the values is connected with the wisdom that are connected with the sites, especially like Borobudur. So it's a very complex process when designing. So it's not an easy task. What is interesting for us is like we see a lot of effort from them, from the participants, to think out of the box, to create something new, to create a new products that cater to their generations. So because we're talking about cultural heritage sites, of course we talk. Of course, what comes in our mind is something that is come from the old world. Heritage is something old. But then again, the audience or the customers of these souvenirs is from their generation. So we see a lot of products that being developed, like bags, tote bags, scarf, magnetic board. So something that is not usual. It's different. It's not your typical souvenirs that you can find everywhere in a lot of sites. But then again, it all comes down to interesting design. It has to be visually appealing, of course. But then again, it has to have values and easy to produce. So these three things is going to be something that they need to learn in this journey in WH50 competitions. So thank you to Mbak Nana because along this journey, we can mentor them, we can walk with them through the process, and then guide them with knowledge from Mas Mirza as the marketing expert. Of course, from his side, the business side, and then from my side, the design side. So we combine those expertise, and then trying to mentor them. So basically to create a product that is unique, a product that has values, a product that has storytellings, and a product that can be produced easily. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much, Mas Eugene. Because yeah, I think Mas Eugene is the most right person to be one of the mentor of this competition, I guess, because he's an alumni of the Industrial Design Study Program at Bandung Institute of Technology, ITB, and currently he holds the position as creative director of Eugene Hendro Design Studio, and in making his work the winner of Hospitality Indonesia Gold Designer 2019, always combines modern technology and traditional craftsmanship. All of his products design are also inspired by Indonesia's rich and heterogeneous culture. Wow, that's so amazing. And I think in this session, we are also going to invite the winners of the WH50 competition who has been joining us in Zoom. Okay, we invite them right away, all right, Mas Eugene?
Yes. Okay.
So yeah.
Now we would like to invite Mr. Jemmy and then Mr. Denny, who is the winner of the previous competitions, to talk briefly about their experience in designing those souvenirs, and maybe they can talk more about what is the story behind their products, and then how they create the products, and from the product to the process, and then to the packaging itself.
All right. Hi.
Hello.
Mas Jemmy.
Hello.
You're
Selamat.
joining us already?
Ya.
Okay. Time is yours, Mas Jemmy.
Oh ya. Ya, terima kasih. Selamat siang untuk semua. Ya, perkenalkan saya Jamie. Saya salah satu juara di kompetisi World Heritage 50 kemarin. Di sini saya Jamie, saya sendiri adalah owner dari Separuh Studio. Kita adalah desain studio yang fokus merespon limbah sebagai media eksplorasi kita. Ya, boleh di slide-nya. Oke, ini yang adalah tema yang kemarin saya presentasikan di kompetisi kemarin. Ini konsepnya namanya Fundanusa. Ini adalah konsep Fundanusa adalah fundamental Nusantara. Di sini saya manifestasikan dia ke dalam sebuah tote bag. Boleh next. Fundanusa sendiri ini adalah semangat gotong royong. Fundamental Nusantara, semangat gotong royong yang sudah turun-temurun yang lahir di masyarakat Nusantara. Semangat gotong royong ini tidak kenal ini adalah keikhlasan, ada kerjasama, terus bahu-membahu keikhlasan yang terjadi di masyarakat kita. Terus di dalam proses ini, di sini saya mencoba merespon dari situs warisan dunia yang ada di Indonesia. Di sini ada 9 situs warisan dunia yang ada di Indonesia. Di sini saya mencoba melihat kira-kira dari 9 situs warisan dunia yang ada di Indonesia ini mana yang dekat dengan saya dan bisa merepresentasikan tentang semangat gotong royong ini. Di sini di sini saya udah pernah ke 3 situs warisan dunia ini, dan ide-ide saya selalu datang dari keramaian, dan di sini saya mencoba untuk merefleksikan kira-kira apa yang bisa dijelaskan di sini. Dan akhirnya di sini saya udah ke Borobudur, saya udah ke Prambanan, dan di sini saya selalu mencoba apa sih kekuatan kolektif apa yang menggerakkan masyarakat di masa itu untuk membangun ini situs-situs warisan dunia nih. Kekuatan keikhlasan apa yang terjadi di sini dalam proses pembangunan ini. Di sini akhirnya semangat gotong royong ini yang sangat kuat, dan saya coba menerjemahkannya di dalam tote bag ini. Di sini saya menggunakan 2 teknik, yaitu patchwork dan stencil, dan di bahan dasarnya ini semua dari waste garment. Boleh next. Ini adalah mood board dan proses saya. Di sini ada tote bag, di sini saya menggabungkan, dan di sini eksplorasi saya nggak terbatas dari material. Ini hanya tote bag produk, ini hanya sekedar produk. Intinya undang saya ini yang saya ingin sampaikan, semangat gotong royong yang hadir ini yang ingin saya kedepankan. Boleh ini di sini mungkin ada videonya, boleh diputar untuk proses kreasinya saya. Ya, sekian. Ya, intinya sih kita ke situs warisan dunia atau situs-situs apa yang ada, sebenarnya kita nggak usah harus menjiplak semua, kita hanya mikirin semangat apa yang bisa kita refleksikan ke diri kita, dan emang itu yang menjadi esensinya sih. Ya, untuk sekian, terima kasih dari saya.
Wow, that's so amazing, right, Mas Eugene? Wow, so impressed with the spirit that is delivered through the product, yeah, the communal spirit and togetherness, and also the values of sincerity. And I'm very impressed as well with the spirit of sustainability. So yeah, no wonder that he got the first winner of the WH50 competition. All right, I think now we move to the second winner of the competition. So please welcome Mr. Denny Nugroho, owner of Guru Batik. Hi, Mr. Denny.
Hai, halo semuanya.
Okay, I think everyone here cannot wait to hear your presentation about your product. So time is yours.
Ya, terima kasih atas kesempatan yang diberikan bisa mempresentasikan produk saya yang bernama dompet warisan atau legacy wallet. Boleh dibantu slide presentasinya. Produk saya adalah sebuah travel wallet di mana pada zaman sekarang kita sering bertransaksi menggunakan cashless ya, tidak menggunakan uang lagi, tapi sering juga kita masih membawa beberapa kartu dan juga beberapa uang tunai untuk berjaga-jaga ketika ada sesuatu di jalan. Jadi kita membuat travel wallet, dompet untuk travel, terinspirasi dari Candi Borobudur yang merupakan situs warisan dunia dan juga adalah situs Buddha terbesar di dunia yang ada di Jawa Tengah, Indonesia. Selanjutnya, dari yang diceritakan tadi, saya agak sedikit mempunyai ketertarikan kepada lanskap dari Candi Borobudur ini, bahwa sebenarnya yang dijadikan warisan budaya bukan hanya bangunan candi, akan tetapi kawasannya juga, dan lebih besar dari itu, lanskap Candi Borobudur itu dikelilingi oleh perbukitan dan juga pegunungan, dan itu Borobudur berada di tengah-tengah. Pada zaman dahulu, setelah saya coba mencari informasi, perbukitan dan juga pegunungan ini adalah penyuplai bahan baku dari proses pembuatan Borobudur, dan juga bangunan bukit dan gunung ini menghasilkan sungai-sungai juga yang bisa untuk mengangkut batu-batuan tersebut. Selain itu, Borobudur yang di tengah perbatuan ini menghasilkan suatu efek bahwa pegunungan dan juga perbukitan seperti tribun penonton saat umat Buddha berdoa, seakan-akan bukit dan juga pegunungan ini mengamini doa mereka. Nah, itu ada inspirasi kita bahwa unik sekali mengangkat Borobudur dan juga lanskap ini, karena ada juga hubungan di antara mereka. Nah, ini adalah rangkaian rancangan desain dari produk dompet kita, hanya dompet warisan yang terdiri dari 6 lapis potongan kulit. Boleh slide selanjutnya. Karena potongannya ini tidak terlalu besar, maka kita bisa memanfaatkan material-material dari proses pembuatan tas yang belum terpola, masih ada sisa, bisa kita gunakan untuk membuat ini. Katakanlah kita membuat dari lembaran kulit baru, potongan-potongan kecil ini menghasilkan limbah yang lebih sedikit juga. Dan ini prosesnya dari kulit kita potong menggunakan laser. Selanjutnya kita susun di next slide-nya. Nah, menjadi sebuah produk seperti ini. Kebetulan untuk kita sengaja mengajak pengrajin yang sebagian besar di Babel di daerah Sleman, Yogyakarta untuk membuat produk ini. Kita berusaha mereka sebenarnya sudah berjaya, tapi kita ingin menjadi sebuah cerita yang mengiringi perjalanan mereka juga. Dan untuk yang selanjutnya, nah ini ketika produk itu dikemas, jadi di kemasan juga ada sedikit informasi tentang inspirasi produk dan ada QR code yang ketika di-scan itu ada cerita-cerita dari produk yang lebih banyak ada di situ. Dan produk ini kenapa kita milih dompet? Karena kita juga memiliki pesan bahwa menjaga warisan dunia itu seperti kita menjaga dompet dan isinya. Bahwa itu harus kita jaga sepenuh hati dan kita gunakan di waktu yang tepat dengan cara yang bijaksana. Terima kasih, sekian dari saya.
All right, Denny, thank you very much for the wonderful inspiration, because the value is so connected about how to maintain the heritage sites as we maintain our wallet as well, right? And also it's about the value of inclusivity, and also sustainability for sure. So congratulations once again for Denny as the second winner of the WH50 competition organized by UNESCO Jakarta. All right, from Mr. Eugene, do you have any, response or also some comments about the whole process, and also especially for the winners who already give their best practice to inspire others craftsmanship process as well?
Yeah. What stood out for us is like I mentioned earlier, the function of the souvenir is different. Like you see from Jemmy's, I created a tote bags, and then from Denny created a card holder, something that is you cannot see everywhere in a historical sites. So it's a different from the functionality, and then they also has a similarity in values, which is using scrap materials. The other one use jeans fabrics, and then the other one use leather, scrap leather, and then create a product out of it. But what's tricky is when you create a souvenir that connected to the values of the heritage sites, you need to be really careful when placing all those elements, especially when we talk about Borobudur. It's a cultural sites, it's a heritage sites, but also connected with the religion. So it's a religious sites. So,
sacred,
it's very easy if you want to find inspiration from Borobudur. Like you can Google it, you can see images comes out, and then you just oh, I want this one, copy and paste, and then go onto your designs and then create something out of it. But then again, when we talk about religious sites, you cannot just chop everywhere and then place like in tote bags. You have to be really careful, like note how the tote bag is being used after that. not just tote bags, the card holder, is it the silhouette, is it okay to be used, or we should stylize, or we should develop into another shapes, like the head of Buddha, for examples. You know, it's very controversial when we see a lot of statues of the Buddha's head everywhere as a candles, as a just as a statues. So it's not okay anymore to use something like that. So you need to be careful when placing all those elements into your design, and you have to be respectful to the site as well. So research, and research, not just design and just create, but research is very important.
Yep. All right. Research, be wise, and also
Respectful.
Yeah. Okay. Right. And now I think we are going to invite you guys, all the participants. You are very welcome to give us any questions if you want to have a further discussion with all of these amazing speakers. You can type your questions in the chat box, and we are going to answer your questions. And yeah, I guess there must be a lot of curiosity about this whole long and complete process that we have to take care about our ideas from the very beginning, and concern about several values about the religious sites, and also sustainability, inclusivity. And yeah, it's so interesting that there are so many stakeholders involved in this whole long process. All right. You can raise your hand as well if you want to deliver questions to all of these speakers here. Or we still have also a number of sessions. And while you're thinking what kind of question that will be delivered to our speakers, we will continue to our next session. And thank you very much for all the speakers joining the first session this morning. Wow, so grateful to hear all of this best practice from the expert here. So we are going to continue to the next session. So once again, thank you very much, all the speakers this morning. All right, ladies and gentlemen, now we are going to have another interesting story session from Malaysia. And for those of you who have not visited or have visited there, you'll definitely be more interested in going there. So make an agenda to visit these two cool World Heritage. The first presentation session was by Dr. Ang Ming Chi, General Manager, Georgetown World Heritage Incorporated, Malaysia. And who is she? Here is her brief profile. Dr. Ang Ming Chi is the General Manager of Georgetown World Heritage Incorporated. She's also an accredited facilitator of UNESCO Global Network of Facilitators on Intangible Cultural Heritage, and an alumni cum resource person of UNESCO Chair Program on Cultural Heritage and Risk Management International Training Course on Disaster Risk Management of Cultural Heritage. Born and raised in the inner city of Georgetown, Ang carries her duties as World Heritage Site Manager with much passion and fervor. Specialized in resource mobilization, policymaking, project management, and risk assessment, Dr. Ang has incorporated building conservation, disaster risk reduction, and intangible cultural heritage safeguarding to create a better and more resilient heritage city in Georgetown. So, ladies and gentlemen, without any delay, please welcome Dr. Ang. Time is yours.
Thank you. Thank you for the introduction. Thank you, UNESCO, for inviting. I'm Ang from Georgetown. May I have my slide? So it is great, to hear the samples and exemplary examples from our colleagues in Indonesia. I was watching the explanation and the video, and we were actually we have a WhatsApp group of our Georgetown team, and then we were like, I'm thinking of like, yes, we have to work harder, and so that, you know, we can also be fruitful of this process. So today is a virtual kickoff meeting. Formally, I would like to thank Nana, Madam Moy, who's not with us today, and Dr. Jalit to invite us on board. And of course, thanks to our Fund and Trust of Malaysia Fund and Trust for continuing supporting UNESCO efforts in the region. So the presentations that I'll be making today is on the potential creative economy in Georgetown Heritage City, Malaysia. I'm the General Manager of Georgetown World Heritage Incorporated. We are the site managers. Next slide, thank you. So my presentation outline will be about 5 parts, and I'll use about 20 minutes, not more than that. It'll be introduction of our World Heritage Site, and then some discussion on how to create a greenhouse for heritage-inspired creative economy. And of course, we'll be sharing with you our ongoing efforts on creative economy, some of the challenges that we face, as well as our potential. And I'll be introducing the representative from the Team Georgetown at this part. Next slide, thank you. Maybe many of you already know, Georgetown and Malacca Heritage City were jointly inscribed as a Malacca and Georgetown Historic City of the Straits of Malacca UNESCO World Heritage Site on 7th of July 2008. Georgetown is located very near to Indonesia. Actually, we are just next to Aceh. I was informed that you can actually swim there if you are good in swimming. I never tried that. But you know, we are actually very near. So this is an aerial view of our site. It is actually 100% urban site. It is a cultural site. It is a very vibrant multicultural site. Next. So a map for you to see our locations and our sites. So we have a property area of our core zones of 112 hectares, and it's protected by 150 hectares of a buffer zone. I believe like these settings is a little bit different than Borobudur and Yogyakarta, or maybe other sites in Indonesia. But we believe that, you know, our site also has a lot of meanings to the local people, to Malaysians, and maybe to our visitors. Next. This is the statement of OUV. I think, you know, if we are talking about the project that is on developing World Heritage inspired creative products, then we need to know who are we as a World Heritage Site. I will go into the details of our OUV in the next slide. Thank you. So there are 3 statements of OUV over here, the outstanding universal values. The first one is on criterion 2, that both Georgetown and Malacca represent exceptional examples, multicultural trading towns, which this history has imprinted on our architecture and urban forms, technologies, and monumental art. I would like to take this opportunity to highlight that there are a lot of people talking about, yes, they wanted to protect the traits, the old traits, but actually that interpretation is very limited. We should think about that traits is something that will change and need to adapt to the different stages of the society. But it's more important to acknowledge that Georgetown as a World Heritage Site, we can see that the old traits, you know, has come in the forms of architectures, in our urban form, the way we live here, the technologies, and we should find the attributes of this element and make it as an added value of our current interpretations and strategic approaches of site management. I'm talking a bit slower today because I noted there are translators who is doing the job for me, and also the sign language interpreter. Thank you very much. So the next slide. This is criterion 3. We are a living testimony to the multicultural heritage and traditions of Asia and European colonial influences. This comes in terms of both tangible and intangible heritage expressed in, in buildings, in our face, in our quarters, languages, food, and so on. So I think this is one of the very unique elements that Georgetown and Malacca, to an extent, we should take advantage of, because the fact that we have been living peacefully, coexisting in a certain way of balance is a formula that we should be very proud, and we would like to share with all mankind, in particular in the world today. The next one. This is some examples of our criterion 4, where we reflect a mixture of influences that have created a unique architecture, culture, and townscape. And you can actually see that, the hybrid interactions of people, of communities that come to Georgetown and Malacca at different stages has bring in their influences, their products, their way of life into our cities. And more interestingly, that, this element has grown itself, and what you see today is from the past. But from this project itself, we hope that the past will inspire the present so that we can move forward through the creation of new creative economy, products, and also approaches that will invite more young people, youth, and also artisans, professionals into this territory. Next. So my office, Georgetown World Heritage Incorporated, or in short, we call it GTWHI, is an agency, heritage management agency established by the Penang state government. We function more as a private company, but we are sponsored by the public funds. We do not have the statutory status, but we work with statutory agencies like the local councils, the National Heritage Department, and also at the ministry level, as well as with UNESCO. Next. So this is a photo of ourselves. I thank UNESCO. I see that you have created a small cardboard of our buildings at the backdrop just now. It's very cute. Thank you. Then GTWHI actually was established in 2010 as a site managers. So our main duty is to manage, safeguard, and promote the World Heritage Site. Our office is located within the World Heritage Site, and we have a full capacity of 36 full-time staff. And before COVID, we do 60 projects annually. So in the pictures, you see our team. I think it was taken on the 7th of July last year during our anniversary. Next one. The approaches that we use, I'm sorry, there's a typo here. Approaches that we use in the site management here is, you can see over here, some of the main principles. One is a community-based approach. We try to understand what is best for the World Heritage Site, for our local communities. It needs to come first. And we want to make cultural heritage available, accessible, and affordable for everyone. And therefore, it is very important to have a meaningful community participation and interpretation of our cultural heritage site. I'm mentioning about this because I think we really need to move away of just listening to one or two experts or so-called professionals, because I think bottoms-up interpretation and contributions are equally important. There are a lot of place-based knowledge in the town. But we hope that, all this knowledge, we can engage our youth in particular. And hopefully through the people, public, private professionals partnership, we are able to continue our work just for Georgetown. And of course, I look forward to learn from our partners in Malacca as well in Jogja. Next. So these are some of the works that we are doing. We do management, conservation, celebration, documentation, education, and collaboration. And now we are also in creative economy. Next. So about the greenhouse for heritage-inspired creative economy. Actually, I think in 2021, I have the opportunity to attend a class, a certificate class by University of It's a program by UNESCO, I forget the name, but it's on creative economy. And from there, I learned that, clearly in the markets, we really need to reduce the monopoly and inequalities, because by monopolying and, that resources is very limited for individual artisan, individual professional or cultural creative persons. So this is one of the issues that we have to address. And of course, through the capacity building for local creative industry or creating the system is also another way of providing the greenhouse for the heritage-inspired creative economy. I also hope that through this project, we can find efforts to address piracy, because if the products created through this project is going to be pirated by someone who never invested on the time to create, I think it's not fair. And of course, there will be ethical issues, in particular on cultural exploitation and uneven prosperity in the process. So I think we will try our best to work fair and just to everyone. And hopefully we can come out with a product, through this project to promote cultural exchanges, yet culturally sensitive to every individual that is taking part. And hopefully, GDLChai as a site manager itself, we will be able to improve the policies that promote cultural trades for development. Because as you can see on this poster, creative economy or even heritage-inspired product is not yet in the main dominance of any discussions. People talk a lot about tourism, but I think cultural heritage is equally having the potentials to be getting more attention from everyone. Next. So some of the examples of ongoing efforts conducted by GDLChai, Nana asked me to talk about this. One of it is we have been doing a lot of community level capacity building for creative economy, artists and cultural sectors, because I think it's important to connect creators, regulating bodies like the councils, ourselves, and even the Ministry of Tourism itself, and as well as private investor or businesses, policymakers, and consumers. So these are three of the examples that we've been doing. 2018 until 2022, we have conducted the UNESCO project on empowering local communities through creative industry interpretation centers and museums. This is actually sponsored by UNESCO Jakarta through the Fund and Trust of Japan. In our office in Georgetown also, actually since 2008 in particular, but we have been doing the Georgetown Heritage Celebrations, and 2009 onwards, we have been doing Georgetown Festival. Next. I think it's also very important to provide the recognitions on the multicultural creative economic contributions and potentials in cultural trades. This kind of recognitions is a first step to encourage people to continue working hard on this field. And I noted that it's not easy, in particular to the artists and then to the creative professionals that we have the opportunity to understand and to know of. So during the COVID time, my office has established the Georgetown in the New Normal project, the support local business sections, where we try to introduce some of the businesses into our website, as well as we also provide the heritage video projects so that we can document, a very short documentations of how our artisans do their work. And in return, we provide a token of honorarium. And more importantly, is that now it's more accessible for everyone to know about, these many talents in the world side. And of course, we have the Georgetown Heritage Celebrations and Georgetown Festival. Next slide. So this is the website. I hope that you can scan the QR code, or at least some of my colleagues from our site can share the link on the chat over here on our website, where you can see the Georgetown in the New projects participants that they have shared with us their business informations. The next one. This is more interesting because you're going to see videos. It's normally not more than 10 minutes, very short videos, and we have actually provided translation into 3 languages on the subtitles. So we hope that you can have a look at that, choose and understand a little bit on the a lot of variety and very. don't normally like to use the word authentic, but very talented, people from Georgetown. So there is a link over here. Next. And this is some of the poster from our previous year Georgetown Festival and Georgetown Heritage celebrations. This year's celebration, it will be on the 7th and 8th of July. You are welcome to participate. It's free for everyone. And actually, this is one of the main platforms that we push the communities to work among themselves. And we would like to introduce, our communities' variety and their place-based knowledge to the outer visitors. Next. So some of the challenges that I think I hope to address, by the end of the project is like, the first issue is that the lack of systematic, inclusive, and continuous recognitions on heritage-inspired creative economy. I know that we are at the beginning. I appreciate UNESCO Jakarta with the WM50 projects. I think that is the first step. But for our artisans to survive and to grow strong and far, I think we need a very systematic way to support them. And of course, the implementation, in particular for Georgetown context, the multicultural, multilingual, multi-religion, and urban world design. I think that we have a lot of potential, but it will come also in terms of challenges. But I'm sure this won't defeat us. This will just make us stronger. And of course, as you can see on the drawing down here, the fact that heritage, culture, creative economy, growth, trade, development, community identity building, sense of social belongings, and much more, they are actually interrelated. However, their relationship is not linear and not necessarily causal. I have to explain this again because when we are doing the creativity of our interpretation or even to come out with any products, we have to always come back and ask ourselves, what will my product bring to our better understanding, to our society, to our communities, and to our world heritage site. Next. So this comes to the important part, our potential. So I hope that, our artists and our professionals, our talents will consider to come out with a new products or inspirations through build heritage, living heritage, and natural heritage. Although we are just a cultural site, but you cannot run away from that. So I believe this can be a considerations. And I hope also that, these heritage-inspired products will benefit the local community first. So your benefits should come first. And I also hope that, we can appeal to the youth whenever possible. And hopefully it will help not only international recognition, which is very important, and I thank UNESCO for this, but also to create sustainable resources for the local people. So with this, I would like to invite my participants. There are 5 from Georgetown. First of all, I would like to introduce Esther Loh, whom I understand that she just left because she have a meeting at 11:30. Esther is a pastry artist from the Unki Cake Shop. She is also the 4th generation successor for this very famous traditional Cantonese cakes and pastries. It's a challenge for us to invite to try food, but I think there is a lot of market and a lot of potentials in Esther Loh. You're gonna like her when you work with her. The second one, we have Go Chun Yen. Chun Yen, are you here with us? Can we ask the organizer to allow our participant to speak? Chun Yen is a media artist and board game designer. She's really very creative and very daring, and she always surprises us with her board games. She came out with the Kaki Lima board games a few years ago. Chun Yen, are you able to speak now? All right, maybe not. So I'll continue reading Chun Yen's resume. So she have capturing and creating a lot of local knowledge into her board game creations, and she used like a lot of like multimedia as a way to introduce her works, and she's very committed, and she runs here and there to show her work with a lot of people. I believe that she's now not in Penang, and she's somewhere else to share with more publics on her work. So that is Chun Yen. The next one is James Lim. James, are you able to speak? All right, not. So James Lim Chin Soon is an entrepreneur and also the owner of Penang-based batik boutique called the Batela Collections. So, James has strived to breathe new life into his father batik products and rebranding them as Batela. The batik creations will include batik block printing and hand-drawn batik are also designed and produced by Malaysian artisans and artisans in Penang. Unfortunately, James is not able to speak here, but I believe my colleagues have shared with you some of his background information. The next one is Baba Kenny Law. Baba Kenny Law is a fashion designer with expertise on nyonya, kebaya, and braided shoes. He's a well-known and award-winning designer. He incorporates new elements into the traditional nyonya kebaya, and you should ask him, what he do before he become a full-time designer. You will find him very interesting, a very rich character that we enjoy and we are very proud, to have him on board on Team Georgetown. And of course, last but not least, we have Kak Norwani De Rahim. She's the manager and musicians of the Wak Long Music and Art Center, and she's very actively involved in traditional cultural performance throughout the region, in particular in Malaysia. And she and her family, her husband and her child, are committed into promoting traditional music performance. And not only that, we have witnessed their transformation by introducing and incorporating multicultural elements into that. We have only 5 representatives from the artisans, but I'm sure Team Georgetown will benefit a lot through this project. And we are here also to learn from our partners and other colleagues in Malacca and Jogja. So thank you for your time, and we look forward for very fruitful outcomes from these collaborations. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Ang, for the inspiring presentation. I think it's really inspired us to visit Georgetown, right? And yeah, I never tried to swim from Aceh to Georgetown, but I think we should try for the delicious nasi kandar, right? All right, this engaging presentation will get some response from Mr. Eugene. You can also give some of the ideas or also some appreciation on some efforts that have been done by the Georgetown. And also I see there are various products and also artists, craftsmen from Georgetown, pastry, board game, kebaya, and also music and art center. So it has a huge potential, I suppose. So yeah, please welcome Mr. Eugene for some response and your ideas.
Just a couple of questions actually for Dr. Ang. Hi, Dr. Ang, this is Eugene here. Well, the presentation really makes me want to go to visit Georgetown because I see a lot of festivals, I see a lot of events that are happening there. If you don't mind, I want to ask a couple of questions, Dr. Ang. Do people, the tourists, I mean, do people go there for the festival, or they shops for the souvenirs as well? Because I see Georgetown is very lively. It's very different with Borobudur. Most of the sites, they sell a lot of souvenirs, but other sites, they don't sell souvenirs, but they sell the festivals. And then the second question is, do you share the same problems with, I think most of the heritage sites around the world has the same problem with the numbers of craftsmen or local artisans that decreasing every year. Maintains. I see a lot of interesting products that presented by Dr. Ang, the kabaya and then the beaded that I think it's more appealing to those products can be translated into something appealing to the younger generations.
Okay.
Because I think we are facing the same problem here, even in Borobudur. The numbers of younger generations wants different kind of products to be adopted into their modern living. So yeah, I think those questions is interesting to ask to Dr. Ang.
Okay, Dr. Ang, maybe you can answer the questions right away.
All right, thank you. Thank you for giving me more time now. First questions. Does our tourists, or if I can call them the visitors, buy our products? I think we have to understand the demographic of visitors over here. Our cities just ended the peak traffic jam, that's what I call it, of last weekend, where we have Taipusam and Cap Gome, the 15th day of Chinese New Year celebrations on the same day in the island. Basically, we have this group of, I call them frequent visitors that will always come back to Georgetown for cultural or religious activities. They will come back here to celebrate. They have a lot of ownership. They know what to do. So they are not foreign to our sites. These people will come spend their money on hotel. They will spend money on like as religious. You know, some of them is like thank you God for awarding their wishes, and for Cap Gome it's just to celebrate the 15th day of Chinese New Year of the Lunar, the last day of the Lunar New Year. Then they will be, most of them might be local, but I also know that there are a lot of international visitors who come back here again. 80% of them are repeaters. That means that they have been here before. Maybe about 20% of them who are curious and new and wanted to join. You can say Taipusam maybe is a Hindu, Indian community activity, but in fact that it's multicultural. You see Chinese, you see Malays, you see foreigners there, and same with Gome. So yes, they will buy, not only for themselves to use, but also to bring it back to their family as part of the memories and a good experience in Georgetown. There's also the second groups of people. That is the first-time visitors, and you see a lot of them. Before COVID, it would be the international tour guide that come in. During COVID, it gives us an opportunity to implement the sustainable tourism agenda that also has been promoted by UNESCO, that we encourage the local, that means the Malaysians, to come back and spend their time in Georgetown. And yes, people will buy things. So I think the demands for a heritage-inspired product is always there. But how can we make sure that they can buy, they are willing to buy, they are willing to spend the money, buy the high-quality souvenir? That is what we are talking of. Because I think creative economy artisans or talents should not be worried about their job security or financial security. I think this is a very obvious issue that a lot of youth are reluctant to enter into this field. And then of course, like consumer must know that they are not buying cheap stuff. They are not buying the mass product produced like by the factory, and then you can buy in 2 ringgit, 3 ringgit. But consumer also must be educated to willing to invest and buy it and support the local artists. So I think this mentality comes 2 ways. So that is one thing, and I'm very glad that I was informed by Nana that with this project, whatever if we can come out with a very interesting product, UNESCO might be the first one who buy it. I think that is a recognition. Once we have the recognitions, we give them a certificate, a trophy, then our artists, our talents can go further. And then these are the platforms that we should provide. And number 2 is like the reducing number of craftsmen and local artisans. I think that is the issue here, as I mentioned, because in the past, craftsmen, artisans are always recognized as the lowest in the economy ranking, so they don't earn much. They work very hard, they work long hours, most of them. And then when they grow older, they will think that I don't want my children to suffer like me. So this is real story. You know, I asked a lot of craftsmen, they said they don't want their children to do it. Their children are very successful. Their children is doctor, engineers, or architects, you know, and this is called successful.
The pride.
So, yeah, I think it's the lifestyle is very difficult. And honestly, when I met my friends who are creative artists from the Europe, and then they are living like architects, engineers, doctors in Malaysia, and I was like, why can't we do the same for our artists? Why can't we pay the same price to buy a product like when we see a doctor? If that piece of product is worth the money. I think with that, you know, more people will be willing to come in this field, and we will see some hope in terms of the safeguarding of our skill and craft. So what happened when there's a vacuum? You know, I mean, people don't still looking and don't want to
closing statement.
Yeah. So what we will do is we do a lot of documentations, like video documentation on the steps, on the ways, on the techniques of how to do it. I think documentation is a very important way. I see in Japan and Korea, they document it very carefully on how to do it, you know, the techniques to do so that one day when there's a taker, the taker can refer to all these materials and continue the craft and the arts. Unfortunately, that is not the best way. The best way is you learn from the teachers, you learn from the master itself. But when there is a vacuum, I think that we have to set back and understand that documentation might be the second best way to do so. Thank you.
All right. Yeah, thank you very much, Dr. Ang. I think, yes, we have so many common grounds. We share several issues, yeah, but we are sure that we can solve them together because we still have a series of workshops. And also for now, I think we need to hear some comments or a response also from Mr. Eugene.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Ang, for the answers. I do agree with you, and I see a lot of similarities with from our sides, but I envy a bit about the Georgetown Heritage Site because you have all this the government support, the private sectors, and all these stakeholders are working together to preserve this area, and then they do a lot of programs to basically maintain and preserve the cultural values from the area. I hope we can do the same here too. But yeah, it's not an easy task to do to preserve cultural sites, I think. And then from the presentation, we can see that it takes a lot of people, a lot of sectors to work hand in hand to create something that is preserving, let's say. And another thing is what interesting for me is from the youth sides, because we talk about history, we talk about the past, and then we have to connect the past with the present and then the future. So the job or the is not only for the government to create something from that side or for that sites, but it also our responsibility as the young generations to cater to response to the heritage wisdoms, and then in some way adopt to our way of life through products, through cultural activities like dancing or something like that, festivals. But then again, yeah, it takes a lot of
steps.
Yeah, it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of efforts, and it's not an one-person job to do something like that. So kudos to you, Dr. Ang, and the Georgetown Heritage sites because you did a great job there, and I really want to visit Georgetown after seeing that presentation. So yeah,
Not by swimming, but by
nope,
plane for sure.
plane for me, no swimming here. No.
All right. So yeah, I think to adapt and also to contextualize, yeah, with the present, it's also become the keywords of maintaining these World Heritage sites and also the creative products inspired by these sites. All right. And now we are giving opportunities for all the participants who wants to ask. You can raise hand using the feature raise hand, or also you can type your question in the chat box and we'll get the answer or response from Dr. Ang and also by Mr. Eugene if you want to discuss with our expert here. All right. Is there any questions, or it's already very clear, or because there are a lot of curiosity, yeah?
Or confused, I don't know.
Okay. Or if you have not decided what questions and also from where we have to discuss about this very complex discussion, yeah, very wide also perspective to see the creative products and also World Heritage. So we can wait the questions. You can prepare your questions, and now we can move to the next session. You can still type your question in the chat box, and now I think we are moving to the next session. So thank you very much once again,
Thank you so
Dr.
much.
Ang and also Mr. Eugene for the discussion. Very useful for us to understand how complex it is, yeah, to understand the World Heritage sites and also the local potential, and also how to link various stakeholders involving in this very important, yeah, very important areas of.
And developing creative products too.
Yes, indeed. All right. Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Ang, and also Mr. Eugene. Now we are moving to the next presentation. Now I would like to invite Ms. Puan Erni Binti Hamzah, Administrator of Malacca World Heritage Office, and Mr. Ahmad Najib Arifin. Ms. Erna Binti Hamzah graduated from University Malaya, Malaysia. She started her career in 2002 with Malaysia-UNESCO Corporation, and in 2019 served as Director of Building Control Department, Malacca Historic City Council. Then in 2020, she was General Manager of Malacca World Heritage Site Management. Since 2002, she has been part of Malacca and Georgetown's UNESCO nomination dossier up to now. And Ahmad Najib Arifin, he's an architect by practice for 7 years, while also a freelance professional tour guide in architectural tours in Italian, Spanish, French, currently as a researcher in culture and heritage of Nusantara Academy, NUJ. All right, and now I also would like to present here Mr. Mirza Aditya. He is a young professional with interest in marketing, sales, e-commerce, and business development in the FMCG, fast-moving consumer goods industry, and he has been in the nutrition, beauty, fashion, and mobile marketing industry for 15 years. And currently, he's the Chief Executive Officer of PT Asli Dagaru Jogja. The company produces various products and souvenirs inspired by local cultures of Japanese and also other regions in Indonesia. So for now, please welcome Mr. Ernie and Mr. Naj. Hello, Miss Ernie.
Hello.
All right, so time is yours to deliver your presentation.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, Assalamualaikum. Can I have my slide, please? Okay, Assalamualaikum and selamat pagi kepada semua dari Indonesia and as well as Malaysia. Okay, thank you for the introduction. Thank you to the team from Indonesia for the great works and presentation just now. Okay, first of all, on behalf of the Malacca State Government, I would like to thank you to UNESCO Jakarta for giving us the opportunity to participate in this program. Thank you to our counterpart, Dr. Ang from GTWHI for getting us to move together and encourage us to participate in this program too. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, without further ado, I would like to introduce our team from Malacca. Together with me today is our strategic partner, architect Naj Arifin, who is also the coordinator and site manager together with Malacca World Heritage Office for this program, and he will also give a few words shortly. Today we also have a total of 6 participants who are artisans and designers from Malacca. So Mr. Nash will explain in detail about them after this. Okay, to begin with, Malacca is one of the small states in Malaysia with an area of 1,664 kilometers square, with the population approximately more than 900,000 people. Okay, next. Okay, the Malacca World Heritage Site is located within the capital city of Malacca, which covers an area of 288.1 hectare, and it has over 3,000 buildings in both core and buffer zone. So started from 7 July 2008, Malacca and Georgetown inscribed as the World Heritage Site by UNESCO under the name of Malacca and Georgetown, historic cities of the Straits of Malacca. Okay, next. All right. Allow me to briefly explain the history of Malacca, taken from several sources, starting from the reign of Malacca Sultanate in 1400 until 1511. So Malacca, once being a famous trading port in Malay archipelago, after that, Malacca was ruled by the Western, starting from Portuguese between years 1511 until 1641. Is, I think, about 130 years. And at this time, Malacca is still a leading trading center, and the Portuguese started to focus only on trade and built their city around Bukit Malacca, which now formerly known as Bukit St. Paul. So later, Malacca was ruled by the Dutch between 1641 until 1824. And at this time, the Dutch developed the city of Malacca outside the wall by building townhouses and the urban setup as we can see now. And the last one was British rules Malacca between 1824 until 1957. Okay, next. All right. As a trading port center in Malay archipelago, various countries have come to Malacca to trade, and some have settled in Malacca. So this is the reason why there are various races in Malacca to this day. Among them are Malays, Chinese, Indian, Portuguese, Dutch, Baba Nyonya, Chetty, and natives. Okay, next. Okay, as historic port cities, Malacca have strong tradition in trading and commerce. Development and economic growth has brought about industrialization and changed some part of local economy, but the people living in the World Heritage Site have largely kept their traditional businesses in trading, import and export, banking and commerce. Some continue to provide services to support the main trading activity and port operations. Next. Although they are traditional businesses or trades have retired due to the age factor and lack of young people to continue their skills, but there are also new designer or entrepreneur who focus on product due to the needs to suit the current way of life in the World Heritage Site of Malacca. Okay, next. Okay, Malacca is also famous as a tourism state since Malacca has no natural resources. So historical and cultural is one of the important element in generating Malacca's economy. In that case, the recognition of Malacca as a World Heritage Site has successfully defined and makes Malacca as authentic and unique. Okay, I will not explain further about the outstanding universal value or OUV of Malacca World Heritage Site because it was already explained by Dr. Ang earlier. As the state recognized by UNESCO, through serial nomination, Malacca OUV is the same as Georgetown. All right, next. So now let me introduce who we are. We are Malacca World Heritage Sendirian Berhad. But here in Malacca, it's known as Malacca World Heritage Office. The Malacca World Heritage Office was established in 2011. However, due to certain issues, in 2016, this office was closed and the function of this office were handed over to the mayor's office. Then in November 2020, this office was reactivated due to the needs for more serious management of Malacca World Heritage Site. As stated in our Conservation Management Plan and SAP or the Special Area Plan that we submit to UNESCO as a supporting document for our inscription last time. So for our main role and function are to manage and liaise with the local authorities as well as state and federal agencies on all matters pertaining to the site, which are currently outside the purview of the statutory system, including like branding, promotion, tourism, and liaison with state, federal, and international organizations and agencies for betterment of the site. So bearing in mind that this is a living site, so MWHO or Malacca World Heritage Office also lies with the community that lives and work in the area. Next. So actually, to make it short, one of our mission that relate to this program is actually engaging stakeholders and community as per stated in our special area plan. Of course, it includes the cultural activities related to Malacca culture. To achieve that, we will focus on consultation and negotiation with communities, and this we have been started during our first year of estimation. So then we also invite the community to be involved in identifying the importance of our cultural assets and encourage conservation and preservation initiated by the community. This is actually includes how they can maintain and develop their own cultural assets. Okay, next. Next. Okay, we also have done a survey on traditional trades or craft in the World Heritage Site. After this, maybe we plan to expand our survey outside this area to support to the activity of Malacca community inside the World Heritage Site of Malacca. Okay, hopefully with this action, it increase public respect and understanding of the importance of their cultural assets and communicate the importance of conservation and preservation, and allow communities and stakeholders to participate in the whole process. So as we already know, local communities are important resources, and their participation will be more meaningful and beneficial towards developing a clear strategy for the conservation of the cultural landscape in Malacca. Okay, next. Okay, so far, for the last part from me is what we have done so far. Actually, as you know, as what I explained earlier, since we were reactivated 2 years ago, and at the same time, the world was hit by COVID-19 pandemic, so there was not much we can do. It was only last year that we were able to meet and form a partnership with the community, especially at the World Heritage Site. And we were able to invite a few of them to join in our program. As a start, our main purpose is to approach the community while introducing who we are. Okay, next. Okay, next. Okay, now I end up my presentation by inviting Mr. Nash for the next presentation. With all due respect, I welcome Mr. Nash. Thank you all.
Thank you, Puan Ernie or Madam Ernie. I hope everyone can hear me. And let's go back to the artisan one. I think the slides have moved forward and what is intended. Could you please go back to artisan 1? This is artisan 4. So I am Ahmad Najib Arifin, but known in the industry as Naj. I am based in Kuala Lumpur, but I do a lot of work with Malacca and frequently go down to Malacca. It's like a second home to me. Lovely place. And I will be introducing some of the artisans that we work with in Malacca. And actually, there are many more artisans, but these happen to be those who have immediately responded to me and are interested in this particular workshop. We might have others in future if there are other workshops that are held. And as mentioned by both Dr. Ang and Puan Ernie, Malacca and Georgetown have a long history with Malacca. In fact, I need to mention just a little bit that there is a historic, possible historic revision based on latest evidence that Malacca was not founded in the late 14th, meaning the late 1300s or in 1400, but could actually have been founded in 1262 from documents that have been rediscovered. And that would be something quite exciting. So that's still being debated about, between historians. But the fact is, if it has been founded since 1262, which makes a lot of sense, because the founder of Malacca by the name of Parameswara, he was actually an inheritor of the Sriwijaya Empire in Sumatra, which also encompassed the Malay Peninsula. And so that shows also how close we are actually before Indonesia, before Malaysia existed. The Malay Peninsula and the Sumatra especially were basically one overall cultural milieu, one cultural area. And we all spoke the same language. We all have very similar cultures, like the Tanjak or Tungkolo that I'm wearing now. This is also found in Sumatra and even in, I understand, in Sulawesi, because we have all been part of this great cultural milieu of the Malay archipelago. So with that, we would definitely have a lot of artisans who are until today, luckily still available and still practicing in Malacca and of course in Malaysia and in the wider Malay archipelago. So let me introduce the first one that happened to be on our slides, and this is Encik, you know, it's like Papa or Mr. Encik Basir bin Ali, and he has a very unique craft. I think there are very few. He's the most famous of these, and he makes these beautiful models of traditional houses, especially traditional houses. He even makes models of traditional palaces, other traditional buildings, and so on. And we really are hoping that there will be younger people who will follow in his footsteps and learn from him. But at the moment, it's quite difficult. As I think Papa Eugene mentioned earlier in Borobudur, it's difficult to get the younger generation to be involved in these wonderful crafts. But for the moment, we are very lucky to still have Encik Basir. And he is based in Kampung Morton in Melaka. It is a wonderful heritage village that is just outside the main core area of Melaka, and it's a well-preserved traditional village with traditional houses, of which Encik Basir makes models of. So this is one of the main traditional crafts that we are presenting today, and of course there are many others. So please go to the second slide. Artisan number 2, please. Yes, we are lucky to have one of the younger people here, and Encik Abdul Shafiq Shafwan Abdul Manan, or just known as Shah. And Shah is, he makes a very unique craft in which he does like anyaman or weaving using various kinds of either traditional or modern threads, or sometimes also plastic, but he weaves them into these beautiful, in English you would call them macrame jewelries, and he has actually made 2 rings for me, rings for fingers, which they were so loved that people actually asked me for it. So I had to go back to Melaka and ask them to make me another one. But not just rings, of course, but as you can see from the photos, other wearable necklaces or earrings made from macrame, which is very unique, and he makes them himself. And this is another one of the very special kinds of artisans that we have in business. You know, we're very proud that we have younger ones that have started to come in. So let's go for the next, please. Number 3. This is something that is, of course, very traditional, kris. And of course, kris, you find it in the whole of Southeast Asia, Indonesia, Malaysia, even southern Philippines, southern Thailand. This is a wonderful type of ceremonial weapon that we all share. And even the Portuguese, when they arrived in Malacca, they already wrote that they were given a gift of a kris, and this was right from 1509, 1511. So it has been around for a very long time, and we're happy that Encik Muhammad Sahar bin Jimat is here with us to share his 40 years experience in making kris. There are not that many, unfortunately, and Encik Muhammad Sahar is one of the few. We do hope that younger Malaccans and younger Malaysians will take up this beautiful craft, because it has been with us for hundreds of years across the Malay archipelago. Next, please. This is a beautiful kind of craft that is from the Baba Nyonya community, Madam Ong B. Hong, and Puan Ernie had mentioned about the Baba Nyonya community, or also known as Peranakan, or more specifically Peranakan Cina, in which it is a hybrid community where the early Chinese traders came and intermarried with local people, with the Malays, and even intermarried with some of the Javanese who were in Malacca a few hundred years ago. And from the hybrid culture, you have some new things that emerged, such as these beaded shoes, you know, very, very intricately woven beads made into shoes, especially, of course, on the front part. And in the olden days, I understand that for younger ladies, it was a sign of femininity. It was a sign of their craftsmanship, that they could also make their own beaded shoes, besides also sewing their own baju kebaya, which is another thing that we share together in the whole of the Malay archipelago, Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore. We all have baju kebaya. And some of these, of course, we share with Georgetown, because in Georgetown, we also have the Baba Nyonya community. And they are a close-knit community that have intermarried with each other. In fact, as I understand, there is also Baba Nyonya community, of course, in Singapore. Actually, my mother is Singaporean, so I know that for a fact as well as Baba Nyonya in Medan, in Sumatera Utara, North Sumatra, Indonesia. So this is a wonderful connection that we share together. Next, please. Number 5. This is something quite unique. Now, in the olden days, for domestic use, we have the clogs, wooden clogs. And of course, that's not just in Malacca, but you find that all over the Malay archipelago, and I'm sure in southern Thailand as well, in which these clogs, of course, used to be worn as part of daily footwear. In Malay, in Malacca, we call them trompa, and I think in other places also you might call them the same trompa. And these days, because there's not much demand for the real thing, there are very few left, but Mr. Yong Mei Shun here, he makes these lovely little souvenirs that are miniature replicas of the trompa. So they use the same material, the same type of wood, but they are painted in lovely patterns, and they made into especially keychains, also for hanging from your handbag, and you can customize them, of course, for other uses. So these are mini clogs, and he's been making these for 23 years. Wonderful. Next, please. And number 6, we have something, again, very traditional, which is not just from Malacca, but Cik Rimi Azizi bin Abdul Karim happens to be one of the last few in Malacca who do make these gasing, which are the spinning tops. And this is, of course, a very traditional kind of game that in Malaysia, we still have some spinning top competitions that are done, and Cik Rimi is one of the makers who makes those that frequently win in these competitions. So that shows how well done they are. And he's been making these spinning tops or gasing for 17 long years. And so there you have it. I think this is the last. Could we go for those who haven't been able to? Well, there have been others who have that we have in our list, but we didn't want to go too long. But I should mention that there is one other who was supposed to join us, but unfortunately, her mother fell ill and she has to go back to her kampung to take care of her mother. But her name is Miss Juliana Ibrahim. I should mention a little bit because she was supposed to be with us, if not for her mother's illness. And Miss Juliana, she makes these wonderful traditional snacks. Of course, we know them as kuih muih, and kuih muih comes in various forms, such as tart nanas or pineapple tarts, as well as dodol, which of course you find in not just in Malacca or Malaysia, but in Indonesia as well, each one with a different taste. And also kuih kering or cookies in English. And there's also various types, for example, the semprit cookies and so on. So unfortunately, she's not here with us. She had to leave since yesterday, so she was not able to give us materials in time for us to include. But this is just a selection of the artisans that we have, and there are many more, which we'd love to share with you if you happen to come to Malacca and be able to see all these crafts that our craftsmen, craftswomen, and artisans have made. So I welcome any questions if there is any that you'd like to ask. Thank you very much for listening to our presentation. Terima kasih.
Thank you very much, Miss Ernie and also Mr. Naj for the very interesting presentation. I think everyone here now really want to go to Malacca to witness how beautiful and how interesting, how colorful as well Malacca as it is presented by our amazing presenters today. And after this, as I mentioned before, that we are going to have some response from Mr. Mirza. He is also one of the mentors and also the jury of the WH50 competition last time. Yeah. And I want to remind you as well. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have any question toward this presentation, you can type in the chat box, and later we are going to have a further discussion about Georgetown, about Malacca, and also about Indonesia. So feel free to have your question in the chat box. And now I think everyone cannot wait. How's the response from Mr. Mirza about the presentation that just delivered by Miss Ernie and also Mr. Naj? Time is yours, Mas
Okay,
Mirza.
terima kasih. Thank you, Mbak Sekar. Actually, first of all, glad to be here among of the prestigious events. I'm very happy, and we already have a long collaboration with Mbak Nana when we become as a mentor and jury on the event of World Heritage the 50s. So the response for the presentation, I think is very great. Thank you, Puan Ernie and Mr. Nats. Just want to have several questions because we have a very unique story before, when Malacca was colonized by Dutch and British. It's been exchanged with the Bengkulu, so it's very unique story. So we have a common culture. So first of all, the question is about how about the most tourists come to Malacca? Is it coming from the local for international? What is the percentage? And then the second about how you located for the craftsman or the artisan sell the stone. Is there any special place or just the place is around of the city in Malacca? I think the first of all those of two questions.
Okay.
For Mr. Nats and Puan Ernie.
So maybe it can be answered directly from Miss Ernie and also Mr. Naj. I remember at that time, I think several years ago, I visited Malacca at that time. Yeah, I've been there, and it is so, how to say, colorful. And what makes me really have a good memories about Malacca is the nasi bola, if I'm not mistaken, Okay, so Miss Ernie and also Mr. Naj, please.
Okay, thank you. Miss Ernie or Madam Ernie has to go and meet with the Chief Minister of Malacca. She has an appointment, and so she has apologized for having to go off. But no problem. I will answer any questions that are put forward. So to answer the first question, who are the visitors to Malacca? If I remember. Yes. Okay, we have a very good mix of visitors. Yes, the majority of visitors, if you want to consider just in terms of overall, they are from Malaysia, and the second biggest is from Singapore. Actually, the second biggest is from Singapore. Wow. And for example, because it is very easy from Singapore, you can just take roughly a 4-hour drive on the very good highways that we have, and you'll already be in Malacca. So it's a very popular weekend or school holiday getaway for the Singaporeans, because of course Singapore is quite expensive. As I said, my mother is Singaporean, so I also know that it's not very easy to spend in Singapore. So for the Singaporeans, when they come to Malaysia, especially to Malacca, it's very cheap for them. In which the other visitors, for the international visitors besides Singaporeans, yes, we receive a lot of Indonesian visitors as well from the whole of Indonesia, and not just from Jakarta, but we have a lot from Sumatra. And that is partly because there's so much cultural similarity between us and our Sumatran brothers. And we actually have a ferry connection between Malacca and Dumai, and it's very popular to be used. And a lot of us also go to Dumai just for the fun, and visit and have makan-makan in Dumai, because again, in Indonesia, it's cheaper for us. So it's a wonderful exchange. We also receive a lot of visitors from China and from European countries. We used to have a lot from Japan, but because of COVID-19, we, of course, in the last 2 years that after COVID-19, we don't have that many from China and Japan for different reasons. The Japanese are very, very safety conscious, and so they are a bit afraid to go out for the moment. Whereas China, as you know, China has actually has closed itself for some time and is only reopening now. So now in terms of who you see as tourists, we see a lot of, we call them orang putih. Yeah, I think in Indonesia called orang bule. So a lot of Europeans or Westerners. And to answer your second question, which is where do we find these artisans?
Yes.
Okay, Malacca is well, it's neither too big nor too small. It's a small, medium-sized city, and so they are quite widespread. They are spread out. I mean, they are spread out. You can't really say there's one locality where you find them all together, for the simple reason that many of them, of course, are Malacca residents. So they have their own houses, they have their own workshops, they are from different kampungs. So it's not easy and maybe not even right to ask them to come to a particular area and do their work. Yeah, what more, of course, during COVID. So no, I can't really say that we have one particular area because they are spread out in their own places in Malacca. However, the good thing is that because Malacca is not too huge, so if you want to visit even like 10 of them in one day, that is possible. You can visit 10 of them from beginning from after breakfast right up to the evening. Because another good thing is that Malacca is not that huge, and traffic is only bad on weekends. Okay, so don't come to Malacca on weekends because you'll be competing with the Singaporeans and other Malaysians. So we suggest that you come on weekdays, and Malacca is pretty much yours to explore. So I hope that answers the question.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Nach. And yeah, based on that number of the tourists and also the characteristic of the area and also the artisans, maybe Mas Mirza has some views about that.
Yes, I think it's very interesting, yeah, because we have to learn each other between Malacca and Jogja. Same issue with Jogja that we have to push the young generation to be more interested, involved in the craftsmanship. So we have to learn, because you shown on your presentation before that there is one young person who already involved in this kind of business. So maybe we can learn more to exchange the knowledge, the strategy, how to engage with the people to more be interested in the handicraft, in the cultural. So I think like that.
All right. Thank you very much, Mas Mirza, for the response. And it's really important as well, like to know how the next generation will inherit all of this potential, and also to put them together in the daily life, and also to empower the community for sure. And I think we have several questions already here. And for you guys who wants to deliver your question, you can still raise your hands, and also you can you can write your question in the chat box. And now I think we are going to start answer your questions. And now we would like to invite as well Mr. Eugene, because there are also questions for Mr. Eugene. Thank you for joining me in the studio, Mr. Eugene, and also Mr. Mirza. Yeah. And okay, we are going to read the question from Dianisa from Sangiran. Yeah, the question is, I think this one is for Dr. Ang and also for Mr. Nach. Yeah, how to approach the local people to involve on the program in Georgetown and Malacca. So yeah, please, Dr. Ang and also Mr. Nach, time is yours.
Is it okay that I go first?
Please go ahead. That's fine.
I think I've tried to answer. There's actually not no shortcut to work with the local people. I think I'm a bit fortunate because I'm locally born and I was raised in Georgetown. So I already have my family, friends, and then the local communities I was active when I was at school. So it does help me to penetrate. And note that Nigeria Thai, it's not only me, I have my team also who have their own networks and their specialty. But in principle, is three, as I answered over there. One is like, you really need to build the trust. You have to be sincere. You have to be passionate, as a site managers. And we always have to come out of like analysis of what are the main issues and propose your strategic plans. What is a solution, sustainable solutions, constructive solutions to the local community. At any opportunities that you come, at coffee time, at break time, when even you're crossing the road, you see, you grab it. Think that yourself is a salesperson, insurance salesperson. It's like that is my mentality at least. And of course, like in our name cards, we do give out our phone numbers and we have to stay in touch all the time. I find it useful to have both informal and formal platforms to engage. Formal platform, for example, like what we have today is good, for the formality, introductions, and get things into the same directions. But the informal discussions will give you more in-depth information, maybe something that people is not so keen to tell in public. So I think we do need some good communication and interpersonal skill. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Ang. And now we are moving to Mr. Naj.
Yes. There's a bit of a background noise. Is that
okay.
It's
Yes.
off now. Okay.
Yes.
Yes, to take off from where Dr. Ang has mentioned, and of course, Malacca and Georgetown, we face very similar both opportunities, threats, and difficulties. And to take off from what Dr. Ang has mentioned, in Malacca, to be honest, I think maybe Malacca, we are not as better organized as Penang is with the GTWHI. And so it's a good thing that the Malacca government realized that and has as Madam Ernie mentioned, they have reincorporated the Malacca World Heritage Office, because that is very critical to do. So we're now picking up from where there was a bit of a lag when the Malacca World Heritage Office was disbanded back in 2016, 2017. But overall, yes, in Malacca, it is not that easy to get the younger generation to be involved in anything that is of heritage. But having said that, we do see a light at the end of the tunnel. And personally, one of those that I saw was when UNESCO Jakarta office, through, as mentioned by Dr. Ang and Madam Ernie, initiated the capacity building project. I think in Penang it's a bit different. In Malacca, it was called the capacity building project, and it was funded by Japan Funds and Trust. So we are very grateful for that, because that helped us a lot. That really helped us a lot, and it helped to bring out people like Mr. Shah that I mentioned, the younger generation. Because if not, they would have been a bit subsided in the background. They would not have been able to bring themselves out. And so we hope to be able to participate in more programs like that will be able to bring out more people, get more people to be interested in addition to the whatever programs that we are beginning to reinstate from what we had unfortunately lost when the Malacca World Heritage Office was disbanded, as mentioned. I hope that helps.
All right. Thank you very much, Naj, for the answer. I think now we are moving to the next question. The next question is for Mr. Eugene from Malaysia. As mentioned before, that the creative product should be easy to produce. So after the competition, who will get the permission to produce it? And is there any mechanism to protect the intellectual right, Mr. Eugene?
Yeah.
please.
Thank you, Marlia.
Marlia, yes.
Marlia, for the questions. I think whoever create the products, I mean the designers or the makers, they are the one that holds the rights to the initial rights, the design rights. So they are the one that can produce also, unless they sign an agreement to give the rights away to certain parties, let's say UNESCO or something like that. So before they sign or yeah, so the right is still on the designer and the maker, but after they sign an agreement, then the rights is passed on to the other parties. What is the next question?
And who will get the permission? Is there any mechanism to protect the intellectual right? The
Yes.
mechanism.
Well, here in Indonesia, you need to register. It takes a lot of time, and it's quite costly as well. So yeah, every makers, every designers or creators that want to register the rights, the haki, we call it here haki, hak atas kekayaan intelektual. So they want to register their haki. They need to prepare some money, some budget for their forms before they sign anything, and then they have to wait for a certain amount of time.
Okay,
So,
but is it accessible for small medium enterprise?
yes, of course. It's digital now, so you can access it on the website. The Gen Haki, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
So yeah, it's a good thing that although maybe it takes time and also a bit costly, but it is still accessible for small medium
and it is important to protect the rights.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, we are moving to the next question. The next question is still from Marlia to Dr. Ang. How to get connected with them and how to get connected with the local business? Do you have any periodic meeting and monitoring system with the community? All right, Dr. Ang, you may answer the question.
Yeah, hi. Thank you. I think I thought I answered just now, but to use this opportunity, periodic meeting with people. Actually, the function of our office is like during the working days from 9 to 5, our office is always open to the public. So they actually can enter, and a lot of time nowadays people use WhatsApp, emails. So I think I can say that we are a little bit more of the heritage site management on our daily functions. But for the promotion of creative economy in particular, I think we try to be a bit more proactive. In particular now, this is a good platforms that we want to learn from UNESCO Jakarta and the Jogja colleagues of how can we do this more systematically. And after learning that, I think I hope that we are able to identify partners so that we can also introduce it. Because actually since the first project in 2019, I've been thinking of what actually is lacking in this whole environment. I don't think we are lack of talents, honestly. There are talents everywhere. I don't think we are lack of inspirations. Inspiration is everywhere. Capacity is there, market is there. But the thing is we need to really very strategic and pull all these things together. In Chinese, we will say like 天时地利人和, the opportunity of the time and the whole environment, as well as the people. So when we have to prepare ourselves until that day, the timing is right, and then we push for it. I was even thinking of can we have a brand itself, like made in Georgetown or made in Penang or made in World Heritage Site, World Heritage Site inspired, that kind of brand, if it can help our artists, we are willing to go in.
Yeah, wow, it's very interesting. Yeah, maybe Mas Mirza can add a little bit because Dr. Eng mentioned about the branding of the sites itself to be attached on their product. What do you
Yes.
think about it?
Yes, because on our brand, we have the brand name is Dagadu. Dagadu is talking about how we make a design inspired by local icon like Tugu, like Keraton, Sultan Palace, and then Borobudur itself. So it must be connected and relevant with the market, so we can give a good access and understanding between our design and the apa namanya and the consumer, so they will understand better if they know the icon itself. So I think that's the idea.
Okay, wow, it's very interesting how to connect the actual cultural heritage,
Yes.
and also with the values, and also the importance is to connect with the community itself, to engage with them. All right, I think it's very interesting discussion, very fruitful discussion, and very important for us to understand the potential in each sites in Penang, Malacca, and also Yogyakarta, Borobudur. So yeah, actually we want to discuss more, but unfortunately our time is very limited. So this is the end of our session today. And yeah, for now, we are going to invite all the participants who have attended and participated in our chat today. And we are going to have the photo session in the end of this event. So yeah. Please now open the camera. Please give your best smile. Yeah, it's to refresh, to refresh your spirit. You can prepare your best smile, and we are going to have the photo group. There are 5 slides. Are you ready with your best smile? Okay. Ready? 1, 2, 3. First slide. Next. 1, 2, 3. This is for the second slides. 3. 1, 2, 3. For the third slides, for the fourth slides. 1, 2, 3. And for the fifth slides, 1, 2, 3. All right. Yeah, I think we have the whole picture already. So once again, thank you so much, Mr. Mirza and also Mr. Eugene, for joining me in the studio and delivering very fruitful ideas. And now we are going to have Miss Diana to deliver the closing statement. You're very welcome to joining us in the studio. So thank you so much, Mr. Mirza and also Mr. Eugene. And now please welcome Miss Diana for organizing this whole series of workshop. And today we have done our first series of workshop. Yeah. Maybe you can deliver some of the wrap up sessions of this workshop. Time is yours.
Thank you. I think today we have a very wonderful time with all participants. We have received many questions as well, separately as well to the committees. And we have seen like different presentations from Borobudur, Penang, and Malacca. And we are so happy, like the Zoom today is consistently, we have so many participants, like above 100 people, and everyone is so engaged. So thank you, everyone. And I would like here today to inform you about our way forward, the action plan after today. Yes, correct, Sekar, today is the inauguration and kickoff launching of the creative process of this MUCP program funded by the Malaysian Fund Interest. And like have you seen in the slide, today is the virtual kickoff workshop, and we will continue with the coaching workshop with the expert during February and March. So this will be virtually.
Oh.
So you seen like from Penang and Malacca, they also presented different crafts. Yeah, we have kebaya and then art performance as well, and then there is batik. I saw it also, and game developer. And interestingly, from Malacca, I saw mini clock, like a small.
Oh yeah, the
small
wooden
bakiak,
mini
yeah.
clock. Oh yeah, yeah, bakiak.
Yeah, like terompah ya mungkin.
Yeah,
Ya,
terompah.
mereka bilang terompah. And then also keris. So many similarities in our culture, yet it's very interesting. And this coaching workshop will be coached by our two experts, Mr. Eugene and Mas Mirza. And we will inform again to the groups of Penang and Malacca of which date, because we will need to discuss with them, like find suitable times for them as well. And then this is the most exciting. We will have a physical workshop. So we will invite friends from Penang and Malacca to come to Borobudur and Yogyakarta. That will be on the 30th of April until 3rd May. So during 4 days, we will facilitate them to meet with the experts, meet with the local artisans here. For if there is a participants who developing batik, we will also facilitate meetings with the batiks here. Dr. Ang said that she's interested to hear how the product can be more sustainable. So we will probably also will showcase some of the products. There will be gathering of artisans of Indonesia and Malaysia. And also we will also visit World Heritage Sites, Borobudur Temple Compound. So very excited. And then afterwards, in this face-to-face, because there will be session to discuss further with the expert about the product ideas, yeah, like the group of from Borobudur and then from Penang and from Malacca, they will discuss how they can come up with the new product ideas. And then they will be given time after they see a lot of artisans here, they see a lot of exchange experience. There will be third virtual coaching. This will be confirmation of the what type of product prototype finally that you will develop. And this also will be confirmed with the site managers for the narrative and storytelling. And then assuming that we will have product prototypes, we will also do virtual closing workshop on the 20th of May. And we will showcase all the result of the creative process. And because this will be streaming live through YouTube, we hope also to have very exciting moment, cultural exchange, maybe art performance.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, from 2 countries. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the way forward. I think it's exciting.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, thank you so much, Miss Diana, for the very exciting information that will be various activities that will take place soon as follow up of this workshop. So there will be direct meeting, yeah, of these crafters and also from the expert that will deliver, and also to have a fruitful discussion, I suppose, in the heritage sites in Indonesia near Borobudur. And also there are still follow-up session as well to know how this workshop will be applied by these artisans from Malaysia as well. So thank you very much, Miss Diana, for the closing of this event today. And thank you very much for all participants and resource person for participating in this meaningful 3-hour event. And see you again in the next UNESCO Jakarta and Malaysian Fun Interest event. So this is the end of our event today. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you and good afternoon, everyone.